on your microphones. Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. We're trying to get the internet up and working, so if you just give us a second. Okay. All right. Well, welcome. Let's stand for a pledge allegiance and a short invocation. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear God, touch our community, keep us happy and safe. Give us love, compassion, and care. Bless us with good health, peace of mind, and kindness in our hearts. We pray.
Amen.
Amen. First, I'd like to apologize because we cannot get our internet working, so we can't have any live comments. So I'm sorry about that. We're trying to rectify the problem, but as of right now, we cannot. I move approval of the agenda.
You want to do a roll call?
Oh, I'm sorry. Roll call, sorry.
Ms. Lee?
Here.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye, here.
Mr. Red?
Here.
I move approval of the agenda.
Second?
Roll call.
Mr. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
I move approval of minutes, regular meeting, June 2nd, 2020.
Second?
Roll call. Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Fiscal officers report.
At the end of June, on our main checking account, our balance is $1,906,729.35. The HRA checking account has $13,103.01 in it. The credit card checking account has $2,272.62. The money market account has $1,193,526.95. Our meter account has in it $8,206,985.86. We received a notice this past week that our vision plan, which renews effective 1/1/21, will have no rate increase, and the current rates are going to be guaranteed through December 31st of 2024.
Is that it? Any questions? All right, thank you. Presentations, we have none. Public hearing. The very first thing I would like to do is I'd like to thank the committee, our Plan Use Committee. They did an excellent job. They worked very hard, and it's all volunteers. So thank you. If it wasn't for them, the township couldn't function, so thank you to the committee for putting in the time and the effort to present the land use to us. Secondly, we're going to start the land use plan map, but before we do, I would like to take the opportunity, because I've heard from a lot of residents via email, via telephone, and I would like to have omitted from the land use plan is the scenic commercial for Loveland Castle and the parcels that are in Mason Montgomery. I'd like to have that omitted from the land use plan. So I don't know how you feel, Ken and Phil, but that's what I'd like to do. So how do you guys feel?
Go ahead.
I have no objection. I also received a lot of emails, a lot of comments, and I think it's great that we got that kind of response from our community. The process here is interesting, and I'd like to speak to that for a moment if I could. We have a statutory requirement of providing a land use map for Symmes Township, and we have to periodically update that. And I think it's a 5-year cycle, and we are delinquent by
5 years.
about, I'm not sure when the last one was, 2012? 9? So we're 11 years into a 5-year cycle. There are a lot of reasons for that. We went through, forgive me, Kim, but we've gone through 2 and 3 administrators. Each of us up here has been acting administrator, and we really needed to get the public involved. We have a process wherein we try and publish requests for volunteers to be interviewed, to be on the land use committee. We put that out multiple times, and we had trouble getting a lot of people, but we do have residents that step up and do these kinds of things. And to Jody's point, we'd really like to thank them for their effort. However, the process is one, this is a land use map, and it is not a zoning map. So what we're dealing with here is the committee looks at the previous land use map and goes through the process of identifying parcels of properties and so on, wherein something maybe needs to be changed. And the process is that they get all this together, working through the Hamilton County Planning Partnership, and they present it to the trustees. And that's what this is all about tonight. There was a public hearing, when was that, Kim?
February.
February?
Yeah.
I'm not a public hearing, but a open house wherein all of the residents were invited to come, look at what was proposed on the land use and so on, and make comments. Comments were made. That's how we learned about some of the things as trustees. But the real presentation would have come tonight from the committee and the Hamilton County Planning Partnership to present to us to go through it. We got a lot of flack on several issues, and that's what Jody spoke to tonight. Now, can I see a show of hands of who's here interested in the Scenic River
commercial
development area?
Yeah,
Okay. Did you hear her say that we're not going to change it from what it is?
it's going to stay the same.
Okay. We're not going to change it.
And from now on, I think there was a lot of scare tactics by certain people. If you have any questions, we're here for you. You can always call one of us, you can call the township, and we can explain it to you. I think there's a lot of false information that was out there, and I think people tried to scare you. So from now on, if you ever have a question about what we're doing at the township or what is going on, please call us. The committee that we put in, they were volunteers. There was no one on that committee that was self-serving. They volunteered. We accepted anybody who wanted to volunteer. So it was a very diverse committee, and they just put their insight in. That's all they did. Okay? So please call us anytime that you receive a flyer that tries to scare you about something that is going on. Okay? Because just wait, you can comment when it comes up. But we are, we try to do what's best for the township and what's best for you, your community, our community, everything. And sometimes the committees don't necessarily live in those areas, so they don't understand them. But we're always here as township trustees to rectify that, okay?
And I just wanted to add to Jody and to Ken, the land use plan is what was brought to the trustees from the committee is a concept. It's subject to change. It's not set in stone, but it is simply just looking at ideas on potential usages for different parts of the township, largely based on the last 5 to 10 years, how the township has been growing. So, as Jody and Ken mentioned, but put in a different way, you elect us to represent you, so we're here to voice your opinions, and we've heard, I've heard nothing but the only comments I've received relative to the scenic, the river down by Loveland Castle is no thanks. I didn't receive any positive comments on that particular location, and similarly, Montgomery Road across from Enyart, the 4 parcels, I've received nothing but no thanks to that. Keep it residential. So
Do we have anybody for that area here?
It's actually 2 and 2, Phil.
Okay.
2 on Montgomery and 2 on Mason.
okay, yeah.
So you all understand that's not going to be changed also? Okay. Because
So
we're
again,
here to
yeah,
represent you.
we appreciate you reaching out to us and giving us your input.
Do we want to take comments now, or do you want to? I
Sure.
see a couple people. If you want to
Yeah.
comment real quickly, that's fine.
You have to come up and identify yourself and where you're from.
Well,
First, thank you. I'm Don Truesdale. I'm from the River Oak subdivision. I'm 2 lots over from the property that's being, has been proposed to be changed. I guess the first comment I have is, well, why didn't we know about this until a week ago? I mean, it would seem to me like it would be very, very important for the people who would be affected by these kind of changes, that they would know, you would at least get some communication out to us so that we would know. Now, maybe I missed the February meeting, possibly, that this discussion was being held on. But, I mean, that's exactly the first point that sticks in my craw is, I had to get this from some property owner that was being affected by this thing that doesn't even live in our same subdivision that we live in. I live in River Oaks, and these things, I mean, it's just going out, and the change was not well defined. In fact, there was no definition regarding the change and what it was going to mean if the change even went through. We were totally in the dark. And then we start struggling with, okay, what's going on? Who's behind this? Why are they doing this? I mean, what does it mean to us? Are we going to have a local tavern pretty soon next door that's open till 4:30 in the morning and blaring out music? Or what is going on? I mean, this is a nice, quiet area we live in. And to put this kind of, to even think about it, you know, I've lived in this area I've lived in this area since 1996. And I chose this property and this lot that I'm on because it's quiet. It's got a scenic view of the river. You know, nothing's going on next door. It's wooded. It's a very, very lovely area, okay? Now, if you go down further, there are some houses that, you know, they're smaller and probably not as upscale, but the issue is it's a good neighborhood. We don't have problems there. This particular proposal leads to nothing but problems.
okay.
Nothing good can come out of it for anybody living in this whole area. So my whole topic tonight is somewhere something has to change so that we get communications when these kind of things are happening. Now, I probably have gone through 100 emails now of stuff, as you said earlier. There's a lot of stuff going on that we don't know. Nobody could even give us a definition of what the scenic area meant. What does that even mean? And finally, I've got that, I think, yesterday or the day before, which was really helpful. And a little bit, made me feel a little bit better. But we need, first of all, we trust you. I mean, we voted for you. We put a lot of you in here. And we need your help a little bit more with communication in the future so that we don't get into these situations where we have to recoil. And that's kind of what we're doing. We're recoiling. You know, we're not here to because of our health. We don't know what's going on, and that's my major theme is that this. Number two, we don't want somebody to go in there and tear out all those beautiful, beautiful trees. Have you seen that area? It is such a beautiful area. You know, I bought my lot, almost 3 acres, because it's wooded. I looked for a year and a half to find that lot in Cincinnati when I was moving from Georgia. I looked for a year and a half to find a lot with trees on, because all the developers, first thing they want to do is they want to cut down all the trees, right? That's how they develop property here, and that seems to be the way. And this was gonna lead to lots and lots of, false hopes, I hope, I don't know, but anyway, that's my first point is I'd like to make is we need a little more help from you folks. And we trust you to do what's right for us, and it sounds like you're trying to do that, and we appreciate that. I appreciate that, I'll say that. But in the future, give us a little more heads up. And we got a president of our community, and let them know, that our council, our board, let them know, and we'll go from there.
We do send out emails to the HOAs. So you should have received an email from the HOAs telling that we're having a land use planning.
When did that go out?
Kim?
Well, I never saw it.
So we try.
Well, last month, that's 7 days ago. So when was last month?
It would have been after the last meeting in June.
What's that?
So,
It would have been after the last meeting in June.
okay.
Well, when was that? I mean, that's probably when I got the first notice, is that it was coming. That doesn't give us any time
Are
to,
you signed up for our electronic newsletter?
I don't know.
So if you go onto our website,
Uh-huh.
and there's a little box that shows up.
Yeah,
you
I
click on
want
that.
to ask you another question. Why don't you just send it to the president of the homeowners association in our subdivision, and we can go from there, or to at least our board, which I'm on, the board, and we will take it from there. We don't need you to send it to all 75 homeowners there. We just need you to get
do
it
that.
out to us.
We send it to the president.
There's thousands and thousands of things on that internet that we have to go find every day. We need a little bit more help from you, and that's what I'm asking. Is that, do you understand me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so before we get to comments, I think we need to go over the plan, because I'm assuming other people want to speak. So why don't we go through the plan, and then we'll.
Thank you, trustees. My name is Steve Johns. I'm with Hamilton County Planning and Development, and we were hired by the township to make this land use plan. My colleague Brian Snyder is here with me. Brian administered of the Symmes Township zoning ordinance for the township as well. So he has quite a lot of knowledge about this area, and I've been doing that work for some time. I too am glad to see so many people out tonight. It is an indicator that people care about the community, and that's something that we're trying to help the township do. Care about the community and pass it on to future generations that are going to do it. What is a land use plan update? The idea is that things will change over time. I think we've seen in recent news that drive-in theaters are coming back because we wouldn't have known, right? So things like that, or even if you think about Amazon and the impact that they have on everything we know about retail. So those kind of changes are things that communities and citizens want to anticipate. Sorry?
It should be a little green.
I'm a mumbler as it is, and now I'm suffering under the mask. So I was just giving a little bit of background. We did look at the entire township, again, because it had been some years since we looked at it. And a lot of it was cleaning things up, making things match the actual land use that was existing in the location. We did make a couple of recommendations that the committee did think were ideas to pass along for the trustees' considerations. I wanted also just to go over the dates of the process. I think Administrator Kim has mentioned this, but just said that there were 3 meetings of the Land Use Committee. September 10th was the kickoff of the land use process. October 15th, we presented some of the possible changes that they might want to consider. November 19th, we went over final changes that they wanted to recommend for the open house, which was January 13th. And then we reviewed the input from the open house on May 6th, and now are coming forward with the proposed changes. We had 3 sections. I think some folks were able to probably see the maps. We divided the township into a north, south, and middle section. I think many of them, again, were things that we would call more cleanup or matching land use lines to property lines. So for instance, in the Loveland Madeira Road, Kemper Road area, we matched the zoning behind the retail to the industrial classification by the railroad. We also expanded the utility classification to all the wastewater treatment plant property in that area. There was a small extension of retail neighborhood designation south from Kemper on Loveland Madeira to Hopewell. Also, there were some minor changes in the Glendale, Milford Road, Remington Road area, where there were what we would call a hodgepodge of uses, some retail, some industrial, and we moved most of those to the industrial designation. The northern section is the one where many of the changes that were mentioned that have been controversial, that the trustees are not going to push forward, were part of that section. But there were additional changes that were recommended and that are included in the current plan. One is the area near Union Cemetery Road. Many of those uses were office designated, but now have turned into retail uses, so we wanted to match that. And also near Governor's Way, a similar thing, that things that back in 2009 were classified as different land use has been developed at this point, so we wanted to match those parcels. Snyder Road area, there was an area north of Kemper Road that was single-family cluster land use, and it was changed to general office again because it had been developed to general office. And there's a small triangle property just north of I-275 on Snyder Road that we changed from attached single-family to general office. And then a couple small changes in the Camp Dennison area, which we classified as the southern section. We recommended that an area that is right-of-way on the old map that was designated as retail be changed to public classification. And then we, at the intersection of Lincoln Road and Glendale Milford Road, added 2 parcels for additional retail so that all 4 corners of that intersection were designated retail. There also is a site in Camp Dennison that the Ohio Society of Daughters of the American Revolution owned, and we moved that to public institution. Those were the proposed changes that we made. Are there any questions about those changes?
So,
Sir, can you please step up to the mic?
No, she wants you to go.
Just step up to the mic,
microphone.
please,
Thank you.
so we all can hear you.
okay, you know me. So the changes you made, are these going to come back up again in a year or two to try to restate what that property is around the Loveland Castle, or is this a yearly thing we're going to have to deal with? Is this permanently etched that you're not going to move forward, or what happens from here on out?
This is our land use plan. It's not zoning, it's just the way that the township feels that things are moving into, okay? It's done every 5 years. We haven't done it in 11. So we're
Okay.
trying to catch up to date with the times.
So will it happen again in 5 years then? We'll be having to deal with the same thing?
No. You will have another committee in 5 years made up of people just like yourself
Okay,
that is going to review the area of the township and make recommendations. So in 5 years, we put it in our newsletter, we put it on our e-news, we put it on our social media. So if you just read your newsletters, or if you get your e-news, you'll be made aware of that the land use plan is coming up, and you always can volunteer. Or if you don't have time to volunteer, you can just follow along to what they're doing. So I can't say, because in 5 years the next committee won't recommend it, or they will, or we might not be trustees. who knows? But, you know, you always can get involved, or you can just follow along to make sure it's not happening again.
So as I understand the process, you tell Hamilton what you want to do.
No,
Hamilton
No.
doesn't move forward until they hear from you.
no.
No.
Is that,
Hamilton County doesn't move forward.
huh?
Hamilton County never moves forward with any development. It's not a county development, that's not a county-owned property.
Uh-huh.
The land use plan is meant to guide the future of zone changes, but zone changes are dependent on the property owner asking for the zone change.
So if somebody says they want to develop that property around the castle, and they come to you and skip you, they can do that.
No.
No,
No.
Okay,
no.
okay. That's what I'm trying to understand. So
No.
we're back to you folks as our
And
primary.
no one from the
interface.
castle has ever approached the land use plan or us about changing it to commercial scenery. It was just based off of that committee's recommendation.
Okay.
No one's approached us, no one's trying to sell the property and make it scenic commercial
Oh,
at
that's
all.
good to know.
That was just based off the committee's recommendation. And they just make recommendations to us. We don't have any part of the committee. Once it comes to us, we can decide if it's appropriate or not appropriate.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, now, so just one other question. Now, so you're talking about extending the Willow Road. Is it Willow Road I'm talking about?
Who's talking about extending Willow Road?
Going down towards the castle?
So that's a development proposal that the local council has indicated interest in the past. That has nothing to do with the land use plan. The
Okay.
land use plan doesn't call for extension of any roads.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't aware of that.
What's that?
I wasn't aware of that.
Yes.
That's
Well,
why I
sure.
asked. Where'd that come from?
Well, that's there. I mean, if you look at it, I've got it on the internet somewhere that someone sent that to me, actually, I think you can see where that development, where that road is supposed to go down through there. See, these are the kind of things, that maybe you didn't know that, so you know, you can't.
It's a paper street.
It's
a paper street.
it's.
There is a plot, I saw in the plot,
Can you
where that
explain
road extends down into the castle. There is a map somewhere, because I saw that on a map, where that road extends down in towards the castle and swings around. Now, maybe you didn't know about it, but I've seen a map
It's-
somewhere.
That's the way that road exists currently. It's a
Right.
paper street.
It's a paper
It's already
street.
been platted. It was originally intended to, back in the 20s or whenever they created that subdivision, they had intended that to be a road. It just was never paved. It's dedicated but not accepted. It's never been improved. But it's always been dedicated. It's a public road currently.
Okay,
The
Brian,
council doesn't own it.
Well, there really isn't a road, there right now. It really stops right there.
It's called a paper street, not a regular. street.
Okay,
okay.
It's a
Okay.
street on pavement.
Can you explain to this group what it would take for that to happen?
Well, it's owned by the township trustees, so you guys would have to approve.
Exactly.
The improvement of that road.
So we would have to have some proposal come before us,
Which hasn't happened.
which we're not aware of.
Yes.
okay,
Okay?
okay. All right, well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
I had a couple questions. Something I don't understand about the process. I'm going to make a real brief.
Identify who you are.
Oh, Mark McWillan, 9355 McKinney Road.
Thank you.
I had a question. I tried to find the land use map updated on July 4th, 9 o'clock. I couldn't find an updated map or the resolution that goes along with it outlining properties. Why is that?
Kim?
It's on Hamilton County's website. It's always been on
I go to your
Hamilton County's
website.
website. No, it's, if you go to our news link on our website, you have
Okay.
to click on the news link, which is the second news caption down. If you click on that, there's a link that says other maps. If you click on that link, it'll take you to Hamilton County's website.
And that is updated, corrected with the resolution description?
No, not the resolution, just the land use maps. The
Okay,
resolution
so
is
how
not
would I know
posted.
what the changes were by looking at a map?
It's, you have to look at the old map versus the new map. That's how we have it posted on their website.
Kim, can they do the search key?
I don't know, you have to ask
I-
Steve what they have. Are you talking about on our
Understand
website?
that if you have two maps, I've been reading maps all my life, if you have two maps and try to find the differences,
That's a very tedious, ridiculous search. Okay, that being said, I couldn't find it because I didn't scour the whole website to find it. But I understand we had the committee go through and make suggestions to update the map and so on. And because I haven't seen it, doesn't mean the baby rabbit doesn't exist. My question is, if I understood from Ms. Lease that we're throwing out changes to this before we even hear, other than from hearing from people, we're throwing out the Mason Montgomery properties and Scenic River and whatever, before you hear from the residents who might be in support of it. You've only heard the negative side and you're already saying we're throwing that out because we've had a good amount. That doesn't seem to me
Okay.
to be a rightful thing to do, no matter what side of the issue you're on. And so I just wanted to say that.
Okay.
Um,
Ask if there's anybody here.
Is there anybody here that's for the scenic commercial? There
I'm
is-
not talking about specifically the scenic
We're asking.
commercial.
We got
What-
one.
but-
One in the back.
One in the
Okay.
back.
I got one, okay.
And what about
Okay.
Mason Montgomery?
Mason Montgomery? The reason
No.
why is because I talked to 5 people on the phone today. I think we must have had 30 emails. So we have a good sense of what the community wanted,
Okay.
okay? And we listened to the community, like Phil said.
All right. So the recommendation from them, you're basically saying we're throwing out a good portion of the recommendation they're making. So how good was the recommendation initially, I guess, is my question.
Well, what they're recommending, Mark, is the entire township. So we're
I get
focused
it.
on these 2 locations.
Mhm.
So, sorry. The recommendation from the Land Use Plan Committee is of the entire township. And as Steve summarized, a lot of it is simply catching up the way that property is currently being used, as opposed to what's showing on our map that's now 11 years old. These properties have evolved in their usage over the past 11 years. So the majority of this is cleaning that up and getting it caught up to its current usage. And in these 2 particular pockets, we're going to extract that.
Okay.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it answers it well enough. I just really think we did a very poor job. If I listen to his timeline, the map has been posted on the website how long? Or, excuse me, not posted on our website, but posted with a link to Hamilton County how long?
I don't know, I don't remember when you posted it.
So, because there were several iterations to the map, the final map wasn't presented until after the last meeting in May. So there were changes all through the process. So the map, as it was in the process, was posted throughout that timeline. But it evolved over the course of the process.
So the general public never even had a possibility of an opportunity of seeing the final map with any annotations until
So the final.
late May?
Sorry. The final presentation before the open house, that was seen as the land use committee's final attempt, its final draft. If you will.
Mm-hmm.
And then it took in the input gained at that open house. And then I believe we did not make any changes after we.
I think you had the Plan Use Committee had another meeting, and they discussed all the changes that were received from that meeting,
That's
and
right.
then that's how they presented it to us.
That's right.
Okay, so that,
Because we're not
Estimated
involved to the
date?
very end.
oh, I get that, I get that.
Sometime in January.
Okay, so you're saying that the
Yeah, it's not so much. Yeah,
process,
January.
it was updated in January?
Yeah.
Okay, and first time it was posted on the website?
September?
I doubt it.
Somebody's
That
watching
really got
or
there, Because we had the old map, had
Thank
been
you
out
for
since
voting down.
around 2000.
Sure, well,
And so we probably did not have the proposed map up until the October, November timeframe. And then the final one that we want to present to the House in January.
okay, so the original proposed map was up on site in October. accurately.
The original, the 2009?
No, the map that we're talking about currently adopting.
No, so the way that the process works is there was a map in 2009 that was presented to the committee. The committee looked at it. There were some initial changes that were discussed. The map was changed to show some of those and then brought back to the committee. The committee decided yes on some and no on others, and then discussed whole different changes at that meeting, and then that map was updated after that meeting. All those iterations, I think, is what Steve was talking about. The map changed through the process as the committee made recommendations, made decisions on certain properties. The map, as it's before the trustees today, has been on the website since January. After the open house. Or right before the open house, sorry, right before the open house.
Okay, so January. Okay.
Thank you.
Come on up.
I'm Linda Bennett, and I'm from the Montgomery Trace subdivision. Can everybody hear me all right? Can you clarify what you guys said earlier about which parcels of land you're not going to make any changes to? We couldn't tell
There,
which ones.
Go ahead.
I think there,
Are they not on? My question was, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Was which of the land parcels around Montgomery Trace are you not making changes to
Is it-
that you announced earlier? We
is it the
couldn't
three
hear
on-
that.
It's Mason Montgomery. Is it 3 parcels on Mason Montgomery?
Two on
Two.
Mason Montgomery and
Two
two
and
on
Montgomery
Montgomery
Road.
Road.
And so the answer is, what,
The 2 on Mason Montgomery and the 2 on Montgomery Road.
you're making no changes to those?
That's
Is-
what the trustees
No,
said, yes.
no
Okay.
changes.
All 4.
All 4.
All right.
They're staying
Yes.
single-family
Okay.
residents.
Well, that's why we're all here, because we really thought that that was a factor of being changed, and
I've been talking to Maggie, so she's been telling us how your community feels about it, so.
sure.
Yeah,
Okay. Well, it's a moot point then. Thank you so much.
thank
Yes,
you.
thanks for coming.
Sure.
I so want to take this off. I'm Lori Hayes. I'm also in Montgomery Trace. Hi, Phil. I have some remaining concerns about one of those parcels in particular because it is being actively marketed right now. And the marketing remarks on it state, and it's very casual about it, that maybe it could be rezoned to retail, commercial. I mean, it opens up a world of possibility, all of which are pretty bad for Montgomery Trace. Not to mention other areas, traffic flow. I mean, the implications have quite a domino effect. Is the committee, are you all aware of that piece of land? Is there something we should be concerned about?
Is it currently for sale?
It is currently for sale.
Currently for sale.
That's the one with the house torn down?
Yes.
Yes, and now, new development, they've taken out a bunch of trees. So now one of the homes in Montgomery Trace has a view of Montgomery Road that it did not have before. So that raised a lot of questions. I've been getting a lot of texts from concerned neighbors about what could this mean?
It's currently.
And how easy is it to,
It's currently zoned
redesignate it.
residential. If they wanted to change the zoning, they'd have to go through the zoning process.
okay, and how hard is that?
It's expensive, and it's
Good.
probably multi-layered. If the, excuse me, I'm sure you can't hear me, but if we do not change the land use, and somebody wants to change the zoning, they're gonna go to the Board of Zoning, and the first thing they're gonna do is look at the land use plan and say it's incompatible with what they wanna do. So the zoning board will turn them down, I believe, which allows the appellant, if you will, would then have to go to the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Mhm.
okay, to get a zoning change.
Not that,
Okay, then you, please take over for me.
Sure, no problem. So what they would have to do is, and this is the same whether the land use plan was changed or was not changed. The
Okay.
zoning process would not be different. The property was is zoned single family today and would remain that no matter what the trustees did with the land use plan. Because zoning and land use are not the same. Zoning is the
Right.
legal authority to do what you can with your property. So right now it's a single family, that's all you can do. To change zoning takes about 6 months. It requires hearings with the Hamilton County Regional Planning Commission, the Symmes Township Zoning Commission, and ultimate approval by the Symmes Township trustees.
Is there a
So-
public hearing inherent in that process?
The zoning commission and the trustees meetings are both public hearings, and there's an informational meeting that has to happen before you're allowed to start a zone change process. It would also be a notified public meeting that would have to take place before anybody could start that zoning process.
And
And-
Brian, they
and-
will notify the surrounding.
Yes.
Everybody within 200 feet of the boundary of that property would receive a notice in the mail.
Just 200 feet, though.
Just 200 feet, that's right.
That doesn't hit a lot of houses right there.
I'm sure you.
All it has to do is hit one, as far as I'm
Yeah,
concerned.
it needs to hit one.
State law requires the township to send notice to the adjoining property owners. The
Mhm.
township chooses to send to everybody within 200 feet to gain more notice, to
Okay.
gain more notices, or to send more notices to more people.
So just to review those 4 parcels, the recommendation from the land use committee was that they be designated transitional residents, is that right?
Correct. Condos.
From a real estate perspective, which is, I mean, I have an interest both as a neighbor who's impacted really heavily by a couple of those lots, but I'm also in real estate. So I'm curious to know what I think the concern from a lot of residents there was that that somehow changing it to transitional would then open it up would make it easier somehow to go even further to retail, commercial, office, something like that.
So the recommended land use category was mixed-use transitional, which would allow for some, like townhouses or small-scale office development. Specifically did not allow retail or industrial. And the idea was that those houses fronting on Montgomery Road are going to be hard for somebody to develop as single-family, which is why the real estate agent is marketing it for something else. Real estate agents are allowed to market property for whatever they want to market it for. They often are wrong. They constantly tell people that their properties can be developed as commercial.
What?
They're not allowed to be developed as commercial, and so whoever's doing that is obviously doing it wrong. It's not on a land use plan for commercial, it's not on the
I mean,
zoning
it's,
for
you know, it's
commercial.
not untrue. Could it be? Yeah, it could be. Is it a long shot? Probably. I
Sure,
hope so,
yeah,
but,
right, so but
yeah.
not you, but lots of real estate agents would put that on there because it's a long shot possibility, but they
He's doing
want
his
to-
job.
Right.
I mean, I think we understand that. And I was just curious about the moving away from the transitional residential, which is not a terrible use of those parcels, but I didn't catch the mixed use part.
Which
And
was-
that kind of changes, is that the same category?
It's part of the definition of that category.
Okay.
Mixed-use transitional included small-scale office and specifically excluded retail and industrial.
Okay,
But the trustees they already said that they're not gonna do that, so they're gonna remain single-family on the land use plan map.
okay. Neighbors, anything else? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Keith Doff. I'm in the part of the River Oaks community. I just want to say I appreciate you guys taking a look at the land use and proposing different things. I think we do have to look at how times change and how the land will be best used for development. We know that things have changed in this community over time. So while I would be in support of the scenic river view, it's totally fine it's been canceled. That's what people feel. But I do would like the support of that and looking at and creating walkable communities, because I do think that'll attract more interest in this area and drive property values up. I don't think it's all related to noise and stuff. I do think when you look at a community like such as a High Park or Naperville, their property values have gone up as they created mixed-use retail, walkable communities that are interwoven with the fashion. Even in the current environment which we're dealing with, people likely will move out of cities where they're very clustered, want a little bit more space, but still want the ability to walk to different businesses to enjoy whether it's a coffee, drink, or restaurant. So I do appreciate you looking at it, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Teresa Babcock. I also live in the River Oaks area. And I want to say I appreciate your time and efforts. Talked to a couple of you today, and it's a difficult situation sometimes, and I appreciate that. So I did agree with Don as far as, and just you clarified a little bit of just the notification of changes. I just think that's really important. I don't think most people are looking through the Symmes Township website routinely to see the or maybe even get updates. We're all overwhelmed with email. So I would think that if there's a change, especially from an intact residential area, to consider any kind of commercial use, that people in that area, and even beyond the 200 feet, should be notified. And then you mentioned, I think, that some of this information was scare tactics. I don't agree with that. I think that, people, that there are some people that stay informed. I'm very thankful for that. These people are here tonight being involved is because they wanted to know, because, they didn't hear it from any place else, but from somebody that was willing to take their time to let us know what the possibilities were or what the concerns were. So I would not call this scare tactics. I would call this helpful information.
I'm just saying some of it was wrong. That's all I'm
saying. It may have been, but it got people here and there's, we find things wrong on different websites, on, just when we notify people. So I just think that it was helpful for information. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
CJ Carr, 10403 Willow Drive. First, I thought we were going to have a presentation to even know what the changes are on the map. It seems that's the big issue, is nobody knows what's being changed to begin with except these little sections. The Scenic River part around Montgomery Trace subdivision. Brian stated here a minute ago that the maps have been on the internet since January. The updated, up-to-date maps. Are you Mr. Johns?
That's correct.
In an email from you and with Kim, I questioned the maps in June, wanting to know where the maps were at. And your email back said I hadn't posted them yet. And when I asked where the updated map was at in regards to the Scenic River commercial property, it was not correctly presented on the map, which then was updated on June 25th on the new updated map of 2020. I'm sorry, yeah, June 20th. How can we have updated maps if they're not out there and they're not on the website? This one is dated June 29th, 2020 is when that was actually put on the county website with the updated information pertaining to the Scenic River commercial part. The maps prior to that were wrong. How do we know what map is right, what properties are being changed, and what properties are even involved in this land use process that's going on? I have requested documentation on a list of addresses, a list of parcel numbers, trying to get the updated map. None of this stuff exists. Nobody has a list of these parcels that are being changed. I've asked for the application that's going to be submitted to Hamilton County for the land use plan amendments to take place. There is no application. I've asked for definitions on these land uses, in particular the Scenic River Commercial District, which then Mr. Johns did send me back a response of something about it stays architectural and bike trails and conforming to the river scenery type thing. There is no zoning code for Scenic River Commercial. There are no guidelines of what that can or cannot consist of. It could be anything. It could be additional buildings, it could be retail, it could be commercial is what? Commercial is open to interpretation and to whatever the zoning code is written to for what that property would have become in the future. Why? I'm not sure what the next steps are. I printed off of the county website the application for the land use changes. According to Hamilton County, this is the process that's used in the information that is required to do this land use update. In this, it specifically asks for parcel numbers, addresses, and everything to be filled out and completed on this. I would think that, especially tonight, if you were getting ready to vote on a resolution that was going to change the land use of these parcels in the township, somebody should know what you're voting on, besides inaccurate, inupdated maps that, good luck, try to look at it. Also in here is a definition sheet of the different types of uses in the county. This is the categories of recommended land use put out by Hamilton County. Again, there is no Scenic River commercial land use in this anywhere. This definition that I received came somewhere from Anderson or somebody else is using. I don't believe the township has adopted any additional uses, any additional categories. I mean, this information's put out there. There's nothing to follow. So how are we supposed to get the information, absorb the information, and make a real decision on what these parcels are even being changed to? Just a little bit of, I had written up a statement here for tonight, and since this is not like any other meeting I've seen, because we haven't even seen the maps or see what's going on with them, it is the responsibility of the residents to obtain this information. It is nice to have a township and trustees and an office at the township that gets this information out to the residents. I know it's been said a couple of times, when these changes are coming into place, the property owners of these properties that they were looking at changing the land use weren't even notified. I know it's not a zone change, but if you're changing something on a map that regards to something somebody owns, or if I would have owned, I would sure like to know something's going on behind the scenes before I find out someday later. In the February meeting, I believe it was, a realtor showed up at the meeting for the land use that night. And he was talking about how he had requested property that he is looking at purchasing in the township to be changed to office. But then he had changed his mind or something because office wouldn't fit in what he wanted to do. It was better used as commercial. Is this now an open meeting for prospective buyers to come in and say, hey, I'm looking at this part of the township? You know, can we change the land use to certain things to fit my criteria or not to change them? I know the land use doesn't change zoning, but it is the first step that's needed when Hamilton County looks at it to see if it does conform or not conform with what the township's future outlook is for that property. In regards to finding information out on something, I've tried to follow the changes to this land use map, but I've found it very hard and confusing. The information is hard to find, incomplete. The website has contradicting maps and information on it. Currently, right now, the maps that are proposed have been inserted into the 2009 master plan for the township. They are incorrect, or at least the northern section is. So when you look at the website, and it says click additional information to see the changes, it sends you to the master plan. Then you have to scroll down through the master plan, the 10-year master plan from 2009, try to blow up these pages to be able to see what might be changed on this map, which the bigger you go with them, the blurrier you get, and you can't read the things. Later on, in the end of June here, as I started questioning things, the Hamilton County link was connected or put on the website so that people could access the Hamilton County link. Mr. Johns explained to me how to get into it, click here and go around to find it. But half of the information that's currently on the website, I don't know if it's right or wrong, and there is no list to verify what's right or wrong. No letters, like I said, weren't sent. In the June Township letter, it was emailed to people that get that newsletter that the website would have the use changes on it the week of the 15th of June. I looked at it the week of the 15th, ran into this master plan, trying to figure out why I'm looking at a master plan from 2009 that's got a 2019 page in front of it, and it's 52 pages long. Trying to read through this, don't understand it. On June 22nd, the following Monday, I emailed the township administrator wanting to know where the map is, and was told the map is on the website. Go to the website, it's on the website. After reviewing the website, that's why I say the stuff was inserted. I'm looking at the master plan. The county website has the 2000 plan and the 19 and 2020 plan that was just updated last week or the week before. I noticed on these, and the first thing that brought to my attention was the castle property was blank. It showed white on the map, which I have a map if you'd like to see it, and I'm not sure if it's on that map as white or if it's on that map as shaded correctly. But I noticed that on the map, it was shaded in white, and if you look in the legend, white down at the bottom, do you have a current one? Or the old one that's been used prior to the 25th of June?
Yeah, yes, this one. In talking with Mr. Snyder, we think that was a PDF posting issue with the hatch. The map presented
Had what?
the hatch.
It showed correctly at the open house.
The map showed correctly at the open house.
So the printed version of the PDF is looked at.
Okay, because the map from May on the website showed white where the castle property was, and it showed green in the legend next to Scenic River Commercial. So one question I have is, why didn't it print in the right spot? Mr. Snyder told me that in between programs, it deletes it. Okay, I don't know that much about computers and how they work from one program to the next, but you would think if it printed fine in the legend of the map on the same page, it should print in the block at the top of the page. And these are our maps that we're trying to figure out what the land use changes are.
And this is all posted on regional planning. Is this what you're talking about?
The correct map that I finally have had access to was posted on June 29th on the Hamilton County Regional Planning website. If I just go to the township website and look up the land use plan, the map for the northern section is still incomplete. So we're looking at two maps depending on what section we go into. He said, He was going to talk to somebody, get it updated, which it was on the 25th. I specifically spelled out to the township administrator prior to that this map was not correct. I wanted the section of north of Loveland, the castle property, because that's how it was listed in the minutes from the land use meeting. So there should have been no question over what I'm trying to find. I spelled it out directly. I also asked him for guidelines on the properties, of how these properties were looked at to be changed. My understanding is there are no guidelines. You just kind of pick a property and it's common sense. You just change it to whatever looks good at that time.
It's not exactly what I said, no.
It's not the right wording.
No, it's not the right wording at all.
Is there paperwork, though, that defines how to look at a property and change it?
We discussed the land use planning process, where as professional planners, we look at the land use plan, we make recommendations for properties we think that the committee should look at based on the principles of land use planning, the step down of intensities, the defensibility of your current land use plan for properties. And then the land use committee, made up of volunteer residents, decides whether to take our recommendations or not take our recommendations. They ask us questions, we do more research, and the committee as a whole comes up with their recommendation.
Brian and John, how many times have you done a plan before?
How many times what?
Have you done this before? How many times have you done this before?
Me personally, probably 15 or so,
15 or so, okay.
with all of the, most of the townships in Hamilton County.
Okay, I further requested a copy of the resolution and the added documents that are going to support this resolution that's being voted on tonight. I requested it 3 times. The first time I was told that it's not printed up yet. Second time, it's not done. I will get it to you as soon as I have it done. And the third time, I was told the scanner was not cooperating with her. That was received on July 3rd at 4:05 p.m., the last day before a 3-day holiday. I finally received back a black and white copy, 81 pages, on July 6th, Monday morning at 8:32 a.m. 50 pages of that was the township's master plan, which reverts back to the website again. Now, those are nice color maps. I'm assuming you're using black and white tonight to vote on this resolution also for all these changes in the township, because this is what I received, black and white. As I stated, I did further research. I did find the application. Is there a reason, by the way, I'm reading the application, the Regional Planning Commission gets involved, has feedback, and then I guess the feedback is kind of taken back to the committee, but the committee's already had their final meeting, or is that paper incorrect that's posted on the county website?
It's not correct for this process, no. That's the land use plan amendment application form.
And what are we doing?
A land use plan update.
Update, okay.
Also, the recommended categories of recommended land use in there were the regional planning commissions, but every township adopts their own comprehensive land use plan, and they can create as many or as few land use designations as they choose. They can call it whatever they want as long as they define it. There's almost never an exact zoning category that complies with every land use category, because again, land use is not zoning. So there are a number of categories, maybe 10 or 11 categories on the Symmes Township land use plan currently that don't have an exact corresponding zoning designation.
Okay.
So that's not unusual. If they created the scenic river commercial category and adopted that on the plan, that wouldn't have necessitated a new zoning category in any way.
I am trying to explain our conversation the best that I can. I followed up with an email to you the following day, pretty much spelling out how I'm explaining it, and I have not received anything, comment back from you by email on whether I'm right or wrong.
You sent me an email and I called you to
And then
discuss
I-
all the points that were in that email. We spent over an hour on the phone discussing all of the points that you've raised tonight.
And then I sent you a follow-up email, and I never received any comment back from that, as of yet. So I'm going off the best I can explain it, and I wanted to verify that. It's easier with email, that's why I wanted the email. Okay. The resolution that's being passed says that there's 9 members being appointed to this committee with the help of Hamilton County officials. 3 of these members are currently on the Township Board of Zoning Appeals, and 1 is currently on the Township Zoning Commission. Does this not seem to cause a conflict of interest in the future? If somebody's here arguing about certain things on this, and then we're going in front of the BZA for a land use or a building on a property or changing something, are they going to abstain from voting on these issues since they are already in the process and kind of have their ideas on what direction some property should go or not go in the future? Back to the information part of this, I tried to request information. I did my best to get as much information as I could. I was told by the township administrator that the scanner was not cooperating on July 2nd at 4:05 p.m. I did, however, receive the information July 6th at 8:34 a.m. in the morning. Can somebody explain to me, because I am not that up on computers like I said before, why would there be a timestamp on the email that I got on the 6th that said that the Sharp, which I believe is a printer or a scanner for the township, actually forwarded this email to Ms. Lepensi's email account on July 2nd at 2:43 p.m.?
It's inaccurate. I didn't scan it till 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and then I left at 4:10. So what happened is this packet was scanned for the meeting, and I had to do it in 2 sections, and our scanner and copier is slow as snot. And then I scanned the original resolution that you asked for, the 3rd scan. It was still processing the first part of the scan before I could get it to you, so that's why I didn't send it to you till Monday. I can't help that it's slow.
So computers aren't right then. Timestamps aren't right on this documentation that we're getting. When did the trustees receive their packets for tonight's meeting?
Oh my God, now we're gonna argue about that.
Kim?
It was at 4 o'clock, that's when I scanned it.
Or something on Thursday.
Yeah.
On the
Nobody's
Thursday,
trying to
because
play tricks on
Friday
you,
was a
CJ, it was
holiday.
at 4
So
o'clock.
if you guys got them at 4 o'clock,
For
why did-
something.
For
or
something.
something, why did I get an email at 4:05 saying I can't get it?
God.
The point that I'm making is,
CJ, I don't think
the
Kim is
information's been
trying-
requested and
I-
it's not being put out, which
don't-
causes problems.
I don't think Kim is trying to keep anything from you. I honestly think it's a mistake.
Okay. I think the trustees try to communicate when notified by email. I think you take an email and you respond back to them accordingly. I think Mr. Beck takes emails and responds back to them accordingly, and Mr. Bryant, or by phone call.
Sure. Is there a question?
I didn't know he was looking. Yes.
Oh, he's
He's
looking.
looking up when he
Okay.
got the packet.
Yeah. Kim wouldn't, she didn't try to do anything
From-
dishonest or.
Okay, from these emails and speaking with my neighbors, why is there a general email that goes out to everybody?
The monthly email? The
No, the
e-newsletter?
email that you would respond to a letter.
Are you talking about people would respond to me like, and I sent a general email
Correct.
today?
In response to this hearing tonight.
I sent out a general email, yes, because it was the same questions over and over again.
Jody,
What?
3:56 is when I sent it.
So you guys got them at 3:56 and at 4:05.
No, I didn't get mine until 4
Oh,
o'clock.
for God's sakes.
Okay, we can move on from that one. So is that standard practice that we just have a general email that goes out from each person individually in response to letters when they all have to do with the same issue?
No, but I don't understand your question. I don't understand what you're trying to say. If someone sent me an email, I mean, they were all the same email, so I was gonna,
You would
anytime
respond-
somebody emails
you would
me
respond personally.
or I respond personally. I was getting inundated with emails, so they were all the exact same emails with the exact same wording, so I was responding appropriately. At
Okay.
any time, CJ, someone can call me, someone can email me. I'm very personable. I go out of my way to try to talk to people, try to work with communities. If you're getting 20, 30 emails, how do you personalize if it's the exact same thing? Do you
Right.
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, and phone calls had been received. I know you spoke with residents. I know all three of you spoke with residents.
We've been working with Montgomery Trace. Kim and I first met with Montgomery Trace when? January? Yes. So we've been working with people. They've been aware of
They
the
came to
land
the
use
public
plan. Yeah.
Right.
So, we met the homeowners association in January at Starbucks. They knew what was going on. We are always available to anybody in the community.
Okay.
Okay? So I don't understand what.
Individually,
saying.
you send out your own emails to residents when they respond to you.
I'm sorry?
Individually, you guys send out your own emails to residents when you get a email from a resident.
So if someone would email me, would I send out an email?
Right, if you respond, you're going to
Yeah.
respond back.
If someone called me, I would talk to them on the phone, yes.
Right. Okay, why is it that two trustees are sending out identical emails to the T?
Because when this was going on, it was reply all. So everyone that was emailing myself or Ken or Phil, it was the same thing. So we were sending out the same information, so it would be the same, so people wouldn't get confused.
Okay, so,
Everybody hears the same story, the same response, and we made sure that all the trustees and the administrator were copied, so it's in the record. So we were receiving very similar emails coming in, asking very similar questions. So it just is common sense. It makes sense that everybody gets the same information going back out. So what is your question?
that's why did everybody get it?
Okay.
It makes it seem like
I'm-
it went into a main server, we'll say,
Oh, and it
and
was just an
then
automatic.
come out, and everybody's
No.
getting the same email,
Well,
one
then
from
why
you
is
with
every
your name,
email
one from your
addressed
name.
to a
I know
different
you
name?
didn't send out any.
CJ, why is
But-
every email addressed to a different name and quotes a different street? Because each of those emails cater to the person who is sending it.
Right.
That's all. But
Right,
the rest of the
back and forth.
information is the
Okay.
same. We want to make sure everybody has the same story.
I guess the big question to sum all this up is, can this land use map change hearing and vote legally proceed with the misinformation that's presented to the residents of the township so far? Public meeting in January, I've requested a copy of that map, which I've not been able to get, so I don't know if that was right or wrong. The township website has information on it that's incorrect still as today. Public documents have been requested and still not supplied. And I know it's all last minute because all this was supposed to be on the website on the 15th, which is what kind of started everything going. How can the trustees even know what they are voting on in this resolution without any defined properties? Which map should we assume is going to be voted on? I think that at this point, if we can't get a map, do we go as far back and avoid this whole process that has started, get some more information out to people, and get some more input into this? Because it's been a jumbled nightmare to follow, not counting the COVID-19 that we've got going on right now, which I know a lot more people would have been here tonight, but do not want to come out in the middle of this going on. This didn't have to be done now. I know we're 11 years after 5 years and 10 years, but stuff like this could take some time, spread it out in the future where people can get involved and can come out and talk on these issues and, you know, not be finding out about it later. So that's all I have to say tonight.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
Sir.
Maybe it's A and B, but, so the question is, when and who will we see this map change to reflect what we've talked about tonight in terms of the land use? When will we be able to see that change occur? I mean, if we're going to wait 5 years, there's going to be a lot of apprehension around that. So who's responsible for changing this, and when do you think we will be able to see it?
I would say that we, as the folks that have been contracted to do this work, would make those changes. And definitely before the Regional Planning Commission hears the case.
So who, you own that? Is that your job?
The maps, yes,
Yeah.
throughout the process.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's what I kind of understand. So, okay, and then, so when did you say, can you have some kind of a date that, I don't know when that meeting is going to be you're talking about?
So we meet monthly in the Regional Planning Commission. They just met
Okay.
last week. They meet the first Thursday of the month.
Okay.
So I think this timing, this is passed today, the resolution, it will be able to be on the agenda for that
Yeah,
Regional
you
Planning
can do it,
Commission.
Ken.
And we need to have our packets together a week before that meeting. So, I would say it only makes sense for us to have that made before that, so 2 weeks before that regional meeting. If you're looking for a hard
Just
date.
jump in.
So we won't see on our
Wait, I
commercial.
think Ken wants to bring something up.
No, I'm going to wait. You go ahead.
Go ahead.
Say what you're saying.
We will not, when that change is made, we will not see the words commercial on there,
Correct.
Correct.
correct?
That's right.
That's correct.
Okay, that's great. A lot of talk just to get to this point, but, but I feel like they have the loop closed, you know, so that makes me feel
So
better.
that's the 23rd of July.
Okay, so we'll see it by the 23rd.
It'll be posted at the same time. as the final vote.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Very good.
Go ahead. Madam President, may I speak?
Absolutely.
Okay. I agree with, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, you're still taking hearing from residents?
Yep. We'll
Go
wait.
ahead.
I'll
Ken,
wait.
can- all right.
I do have some prepared comments, but first I want some clarification. You mentioned Union Cemetery.
Would you identify yourself,
Oh,
please?
Carol Symmes, 9972 Washington, Camp Dennison, Ohio. You mentioned Union Cemetery was going from office to retail. Is that neighborhood retail or general retail?
General retail.
Why is it not neighborhood retail?
It's part of that larger Governor's Way retail area. It's at the intersection of Montgomery Road and Union Cemetery.
So, in the past, neighborhood retail has been the majority of the retail within Symmes Township, but that's being chosen to be gone to the general retail, which basically leads up to big shopping centers and that kind of stuff.
Well, actually, the majority of retail on Montgomery and Fields Earl has always been the general commercial.
Correct,
category,
because
not
it's
the
along a
neighborhood retail.
major corridor in the interstate.
Right,
But
this is not
usually
Montgomery.
within, near close to residential areas, it's always been neighborhood retail. That's fine. Governor's Way, what was the change on Governor's Way? I didn't hear that.
I was just commenting on the general area there. There is the dedicated open space parcel on Governor's Way.
Okay,
And right next to that is general retail.
and that's general retail,
Yes, yes, ma'am.
and that's up by the interstate.
It's at the corner of Union Cemetery and Governor's Way, is that what it is, Governor's Way right there? It was on the land use plan for general retail before. The green space parcel and the general retail parcel, I don't think matched the zoning lines. They were moved to match the zoning lines. It was
Okay,
a
okay.
simple change.
My biggest thing is the changes to Camp Dennison.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you put it up so I can sort of see what the coloring is? Okay, so what's the changes?
Yes, ma'am. So there's this pink little sliver.
Right, which is the concrete plant.
Well, the large sliver is the concrete plant.
Right.
There, if you can see between, I got a sticky noting the change. This little sliver is actually right of way. It's publicly owned, so it makes no sense for it to be pink. So we took that little teeny top part. and
So
changed it.
it's remaining neighborhood retail,
That's correct.
which is what the residents wanted back when the land use was developed previous to this one.
Yes, in fact, we discussed at the meeting whether to change it to the current use, and we heard that exact same thing.
Correct.
And so we maintained the neighborhood.
The other change was to the DAR, not the DOAR, complex.
Yes, right.
And that's been changed from what to what?
It was single-family yellow,
Okay?
and now it is public, semi-public institution.
Okay. The other change, which I don't think the majority of residents heard about, you're doing the four corners of Glendale, Milford, and Lincoln to retail.
Yes,
Neighborhood retail?
that's correct.
What's the rationale for that?
Existing uses.
They're currently zoned.
It's zoning retail.
Right, it's
But
zoned
the
for
residents
retail.
made it very clear at the last land use that we did not want to encourage retail in that area. It's in the middle of a residential district. Why would you smack dab four corners of retail in a residential area? You do have one, which was the post office, which now is, I think it's a place where you can go and get coal hole things, okay? The house next to it is being used as a home office. Across the street is a brand-new house that was built. The other corner is a house. And the other one is a garage that's being used for storage by Indian Hill residents for their cars. So why would you make that retail? What's the rationale? What's the rationale? I don't understand the rationale.
I think we heard one of the residents that testified, having a walkable neighborhood is sometimes seen as desirable.
Right in the middle of a residential district down in Camp Dennison.
Didn't that used to be the downtown Camp Dennison? Didn't there used to be
It's,
commercial?
all that
on
area
corner?
is zoning retail, but we don't want it developed as retail. We want it to remain as residential.
I think it's been retail.
The
since
the minutes of the committee in
2000.
1015 mentioned the four corner, but then on 1119, it wasn't mentioned. So the majority of the residents down there thought it's a done deal, it's not there. If we would have known it was still on it, I could have filled this room up with the amount of people that's objecting to the Loveland Park in Montgomery Trace, and would you guys then change it because you have people that's in opposition to it?
Well, we tended to
Well,
listen
we-
to our residents.
Yeah.
Right, but we were aware, we did not think it was being changed.
Okay.
Because on 1119, the minutes only mentioned the concrete plant and the Ohio Daughters of the American Revolution thing. That's it, period, that is it. Jody, you mentioned that you and Kim talked to Montgomery Trace. Did you ever talk to the Camp Dennison residents about these proposed changes?
Well, Montgomery Trace approached me, and so we met them for coffee, because they knew that there was gonna be a
So when were
land
the
use
residents
committee.
of Camp Dennison made aware that maybe we could have approached you and said, hey, wait a minute, this is not right?
I think those residents found out about that recommendation at the open house, which they attended.
Yep.
This was shown as for the Four Corners being neighborhood retail at the open house.
It's right in the middle of a residential area. You need to have consideration for the residents down in Camp Dennison of having a designated retail area in the middle of residential. You know, land use plans need to guide zoning, not vice versa. And one should never make a change to the land use plan based on a proposed future development or a request from a developer. By your adoption of the proposed land use plan, you are stating this is a direction of growth that you want this township to go into. And it should be based on what the residents want and should not be based on your desire for future economic development.
Correct.
Symmes has always been stated as a residential area. We've always been proud that we don't have the major retail that Sycamore Township has. Green space has always been important to us. I just hope that you see the benefit of what Symmes Township has, and you try to preserve and protect those characteristics. Retail in the middle of a residential district in Camp Dennison is not protecting those characteristics. Reading the minutes, I'm very much concerned that one of the members, per the minutes, asked that the map be made more simple and easier for redevelopment. Why is he more concerned about redevelopment in the township rather to continue with the quality of life the residents expect from their leadership? And based on the many comments you've received tonight about the lack of transparency and being able to determine what locations are being changed, from what to what and why, you've already been asked to consider tabling this until correct and accurate information is available for review by us, residents who want to know. And if this fact is not important in your decision-making tonight, I would like to read a portion of a letter you received from Dave Yost, the Ohio Attorney General. This letter was in reference to how Ohio's Open Meetings Act applies to this period of time. He made the following comment in part. As a final word of unsolicited non-legal advice, please note that the procedure outlined in this letter is to address the unique situation that all of Ohio is dealing with. Now is not the time to rely on this guidance in order to enact legislation unrelated to the instant emergency that is better preserved for the normal operations of government. For example, the passage of a new tax or enactment of new regulatory scheme. Let me repeat that to you once more. This is not the time to enact any legislation such as new regulatory, such as this land use plan. This plan should have been updated many years ago. There's no sound justification why this resolution should not be tabled and better reserved for the normal operations of government. Hamilton County right now is level 3. We're going to be prepared to wear masks totally as of tomorrow. You need to consider tabling this until you can have a meeting where people can attend and express their points. I do have one last question, and I guess it's for the Township Law Director. I believe this legislation is subject to referendum, is that correct?
That is a good question, Carol.
You're a limited rule township, so I believe it is. I believe any legislation is
I would guess
subject to referendum.
Subject to referendum.
Normally it would be.
Yeah, I think you're
Normally
right.
it is. So right here tonight, if you pass this resolution, I am requesting a certified copy of that resolution as soon as it is certified.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, you just amplified what I was getting ready to do, and that is that I moved to table the land use plan update for the time being. There's enough issues raised in my mind. I don't like the fact that the 2020 land use plan ended up in our 2009 master plan, which was only for 10 years, and we're past that. I think it should be the other way around. I agree that the new, whatever it is, land use plan is a major part of any update in a master plan. But I don't think that you go and change a master plan to update that map without consciously thinking about all the other changes you want to put in your master plan. I'm a little concerned with some legal issues that CJ raised. Based on the makeup of the committee and so on, does it raise some questions further down the road as to people having to recuse themselves because the issue may come before? I think we need a little more time to study this, and therefore I propose that we table this land use
We're in a public hearing, you
update.
can't do that. We have to get out of the public hearing before you can do that.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Would anybody object if we were to
Close the meeting.
close the hearing so I can make my motion?
Well, I'm sorry,
I think everyone in here has the feeling of the direction that the trustees are going in. A, with respect to the scenic, or the riverfront development, we're not gonna go for that. With respect to Montgomery Trace, the 4 parcels and so on, we're not gonna change that in the land use plan right now. But I think we need to go back and really take a look at this, and that's why I propose to table it.
I'm sorry, I still don't understand. Are you saying the things we just agreed on, you're not gonna do?
No, I think we're gonna go back and revisit all this stuff, but by the same token, I'm saying that you can.
There's 50 people in this room who are.
Are you not understanding what I'm saying? Maybe I can try and clarify. You have the consensus of the board that we're not gonna do the riverfront development. Okay? Scenic commercial development, whatever it is. We don't want to do that. We agree with you.
Okay.
In the same token, we don't want to do the rezoning, or I'm sorry, not poor choice of words. We don't want to do the land use change for the 4 parcels abutting Montgomery Trace subdivision. Okay? But there are other issues that have been brought up tonight that I personally feel like we need to look at. And that's what I want to do. So I can't make that motion until we close the hearing.
There's one thing I wanted to say, and I agree with you. As we're in a time of COVID virus, I think the only responsible thing the board to do is to suspend hearings and votes on resolutions that are not time sensitive. I realize the BZA has zoning things and different things that are time sensitive, and that the month-to-month meetings of approving warrants and so on and so forth, that's important, that's got to be done. I realize that. But I believe any non-pressing issue should be tabled or not considered until all the residents can get in and say something, can speak their mind. Many of them are not computer savvy, so the virtual doesn't work for them. I've been told by many residents, and I'm not going to say 10,000, many residents that they're not comfortable in coming out, as everybody here seems to be. So you guys decide what's right, but I'm just advising that you got a split of those who are afraid to come out and those who can't participate because of the situation. And I just thought that was important to say. So I'll let you do what you have to do.
I do think you made your point.
Thank you.
Okay, Jody, you want to close this hearing?
Anyone else? Okay. I'm going to move to close the hearing.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Okay.
Ken, do you want to make the
Now,
motion? Okay.
I move to table the land use update
We're not on that section yet. We're not there yet.
until
Skipping ahead.
some future.
Then you have to move it up the agenda. You can't, you're not at that section. You got to move it up.
Tell me what I gotta do. Okay?
You're skipping the agenda, so either you have to make a motion and move it up the agenda or wait until we get to that particular
Just make
Oh,
resolution.
you're
part of the
talking about the
motion.
resolution?
Yes.
Well, we're not voting down a resolution, I'm voting,
Right, but we're not at that point in the agenda, so you either
Okay.
have to make a
All right.
motion to move it up to the top.
I understand. First off, I move that we move up in the agenda to the current time, the
New business number 5.
approval of Resolution G 2020-58, resolution adopting revisions to the Symmes Township Land Use Plan and requesting acceptance for such revisions by the Hamilton County Regional Planning Commission. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay. Roll.
Roll call. Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Okay. Now, what we've just done is take this one item that was later in our agenda and move it up to right now. Now, that is on the table, I would like to table the current land use update that we've been going through until we can revisit it more thoroughly.
Second.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Okay.
Before I say aye, I just want to thank everyone for coming tonight. I appreciate your input. As we've discussed, it's a fluid subject, and as has been said, it doesn't have to happen tonight. I'd like it to be done soon because we're so tardy, but it doesn't have to happen tonight. So,
And we want to make sure that everyone's concerns that have been brought up are addressed. And we want everyone in the township to feel comfortable when we do vote on it. So
with
we
that,
will
I
make-
vote aye.
Okay, and one more thing, we will make sure that we send it out again to the HOAs. Please make sure you're reading your.
Some of us don't live in HOAs.
Okay, well, let me explain. We do have an email every month that comes out to homes that do not have HOAs. All you have to do is go on our website and sign up. We do have 2 newsletters that go out by mail every year, and some people enjoy social media, some people do not, so we do post it on social media. I do want to say that we try every way we can to get it out to the public. Sometimes maybe it misses you, but we do try. We try to do everything we can so you know what's going on in the township. Honestly, we want you to be informed. We want your comments. We want to know what you feel is right and what is not right, honestly. So if you weren't aware of it, I apologize, but we do our best to get it out to the public. Okay? So, again, I'm sorry if some people feel that they did not hear of it sooner. Our whole process started in November of last year, Kim?
No, it started in April.
April of last year. So it started in April. So it was in our newsletters, in our emails.
So it was an electronic emails to the HOAs, and they mailed out newsletters. It was on our website. It was on Facebook. Yep.
So if you pay attention to your newsletters or your e-newsletters, you can stay informed. If not, you can always call the township if you haven't heard from them in a couple days or a couple years or whatever, and say, hey, what's going on? We're more than happy to talk to you. You can email us, you can call us. If you see us on the street or walking, you can ask us what's happening in the township. We're more than happy to talk to you at any time. Okay? As I said before, this land use committee was made up of volunteers. So at any time, we would love to have you volunteer. I know we're busy in our lives and we have things going on, but if you have free time and you're interested in zoning, or if you're interested in finances or anything, we have boards that we rely on. So we advertise them in our newsletters, in the newspaper when we have an opening. Please, you can be as involved in the township as you'd like, and we would love to have you. So thank you. And I guess have a good night. You're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting or whatever you'd like, and stay safe and healthy, and take care. I'm sorry? I think it's these masks, you know.
Okay. Disbursements?
Okay, moving on. I move approval of disbursements. Warrants number 77803 to 78003 in the amount of $840,208.70.
Second?
Roll call.
Ms. Lee?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Reports, Law Director.
No report this evening, thank you.
Okay, Police.
Good evening, Board. It's good to see everybody. Not a whole lot to report tonight, just a few things. Obviously, I think everyone saw Governor DeWine's update this afternoon, and there are 8 or 9 counties across the state of Ohio that are considered high risk. We're all seeing what's happening in the city of Cincinnati and other communities nearby. So the text messages between other senior staff members with the Sheriff's Office have been flying since we've sat down this evening. I don't know what our directive is going to be at this point, but it's still very new and fresh. But I expect something to be coming down the pike. We may revert back to that limited response plan that we were on starting in March. We had just ended that plan, or that reactive kind of plan, June 1st, I think, is when we went back to it, or got away from it, rather. But we may get back to that limited response plan, and we'll have some protocols and directives for our personnel. As soon as I receive that information, I'll forward it to Mrs. Lipinski and keep the board abreast of what we're doing. So please stay tuned. No major issues or problems with the 4th of July. Of course, we had a lot of fireworks activity in all of our communities, but there were no major issues to report. And I don't know if Chief Books, if you've got anything along those lines.
No, we had no issues that night.
No issues reported over the weekend, nothing on the watch reports that were coming in. So that's about it for that. I'll have the June statistics prepared for Mrs. Lipinski here within the next couple of days. Those numbers are trickling in, so that report will be ready for your review here shortly. And then I do have a special guest this evening. With me is Lieutenant Mike Tarr. I was promoted to the rank of captain on June 25th. And typically, thank you, sir. Typically, a promotion within the sheriff's office involves a change of scenery. So I will serve as your liaison through the end of this month. And on Monday, August 3rd, I'll transition to my new assignment, and Lieutenant Tarr will be taking my place, unless he's thought better of it now, but it's a joke. Lieutenant Tarr will serve as your sheriff's office liaison, and he will become the new District 3 commander.
Welcome and congrats.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Our plan is
We're
to.
looking forward to working with you.
This is easy street.
I've heard a lot of good things.
Our plan is to meet with Mrs. Lipinski in person, and I think Major Ketterman is also going to schedule a meeting with you just to discuss the transition, address any questions that may exist, and to move forward. But Mike is incredibly sharp. He's a seasoned veteran. We've known each other and worked together for a long, long time. And I do think this will be a seamless transition for the township. So, plus he's an East Sider, so he's close by. So you'll like that.
Very good.
But that's all I have this evening. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, Lieutenant.
Fire?
The fire chief has already submitted his report to the trustees. There's nothing further to add.
I like your mask. They're very cool. Director of Public Works?
No
Bill's
report.
not here, and I just want to make a statement about the township. Our parks have seen an 80% increase since the COVID-19. So I just want to thank the staff, because I think they've worked very hard in keeping everything clean and safe for our residents in the park. And they've done a great job for the entire township. So I just want to make sure that they know we appreciate them, because they've done a fantastic job. And I just want to encourage people to get out and use our parks, because when you're walking, it really relieves a lot of stress, because I know this time is tough for certain people. So get out, enjoy the parks, enjoy the fresh air. It's a great time to be out, and I do want to reiterate, if anybody has any problems at all, please call us. If you need something, call me. If you need me to go grocery shopping, or you need something, you're afraid to go out, I'm more than happy to help you. If you know someone, please reach out to them, or if you don't want to reach out, let us know, and so we can reach out to them, because as a community, we need to stick together right now. So please let us know if you need anything. So thank you again to our staff. Any other comments about that? No?
Well said.
Okay. Committees? We have none. Other? We have none. Correspondence attached. Events and meetings. A zoning commission meeting is July 15th, 2020 at 7 p.m. at the Safety Center. Financial committee meeting is July 29th at 6 p.m. That's going to be on Zoom. Board of Zoning Appeals meeting Monday, August 3rd, 2020 at 7 p.m. at the Safety Center Service Center. Regular meeting is Tuesday, August 4th, 2020 at 7 p.m. at the Safety Center. Yappy Hour is Wednesday, August 5th, 2020 at 6:30. Cleanup Days is Saturday, August 15th, 2020 from 9 until 3 p.m. at Home of the Brave. And I think, did we get yoga? Did I miss yoga?
Yes.
And just, is it not on here, or did I
Not on
miss
here.
it? And I just want to remind everybody that we have yoga on Saturday mornings at 9 o'clock and on Wednesdays at 6:30 at Hopewell Park. And that has been very well attended, and we're all being very good about social distancing, so come on out and enjoy that, okay?
Jody, can I ask a question?
Sure.
Our regular trustees meeting, Tuesday, August 4th, at 7 o'clock, is there any particular reason that's going to be held here in the Safety Service Center?
So we can spread out,
Okay. All right,
unless you guys want to do a Zoom meeting. You just need to tell me.
okay. So we have the petitions and everything here for segregation and what have you, but we don't have them in the other,
Yeah, we can just take these with us, but we just can't fit as many people in the admin building as we
Okay.
can in this audience.
all right,
Makes sense.
all right, thank you.
So can we work on getting the internet fixed so we can have, if
Yeah, it was
questions?
working earlier today. I just don't know why it's not working now.
All right. Okay, so it's just a technical problem. All right, anything else? Okay, so I'm moving on to old business. I move approval of Resolution G 2020-44, Resolution Revising Symmes Township Personnel Policy Manual, Article 2, Conditions of Employment.
Second?
Discussion? Kim, you want to just give us a brief reminder?
This was tabled from the last meeting.
Yeah.
Ken said he wanted time to review it.
Ken's been delinquent.
So
What?
you-
I've been delinquent.
Oh, I thought you said Kim's been delinquent. I'm
No,
like,
Ken has been delinquent because I didn't review what I said I would review. I apologize.
Do you want to table it again?
It's not on the agenda at all.
Oh. Do you want to move that to the end? Or do you, I can move it, I'll put it on after old business. So do you want me to table it again, Ken? Because you need to look at it?
Is there an immediate need for this, Kim? I don't want to hold everybody up.
Phil's the one that requested me to look at it, so.
Okay,
There's not an immediate need.
no, okay, because we don't have, this has to do with elections and stuff?
Mhm.
Okay, now you've refreshed my memory. All right. I'd like to table it.
Okay, so I move to table it.
Second?
Roll call.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Bryan,
All right.
Mr. Peck.
Aye.
Okay, so we'll put in here, hearing from residents, if anybody would like to come up.
We were afraid you had removed it.
No, it
Thought
wasn't done
did cross our
on, it
mind.
wasn't done on purpose.
Carol Symmes, 9972 Washington Street, Camp Dennis, Ohio. As has been pointed out so much in 2018 and 2019, all public records shall be promptly prepared and made available for inspection to any person at all reasonable times during normal, regular business hours. And as has also been mentioned previously, an aggrieved person may commence an action to obtain judgment that orders the public office to comply. On January 25th, 2019, which was received by you on February 1st, with a follow-up on September 25th, 2019, and received by you on October 1st, and again on February 18th, 2020, in an email, the following request was made. All types of communication, emails, memos, letters, text messages, etc., sent from Township Administrator to Phil Beck, Jody Lease, and Ken Bryan, and for all types of communication, emails, memos, letters, text messages, etc., sent from Phil Beck, Jody Lease, and Ken Bryan to the Township Administrator for the following time period, October 18th, 2018 to December 31st, 2018. Please advise when this material is ready for review. I have had no response. Can you advise me the status of this public records request, which is 16 months old?
I've got a question. This is working. I have a question for Ms. Symmes first. You mentioned a citizen has a right to bring an action. Are you bringing an action?
I'm just mentioning what was mentioned previously.
I'm going to advise the board not to answer any questions regarding this public records request at this point.
That's fine, that's good. On January 25th, 2019, received by you on February 4th, with a follow-up on September 25th, 2019, received by you on October 1st, and again on February 18th, 2020, in an email, was this request. All types of communication, emails, memos, letters, text messages, etc., sent from the Township Administrator to Phil Beck, Jody Lease, and Ken Bryan. And for all types of communications, emails, memos, letters, text messages, etc., sent from Phil Beck, Jody Lease, and Ken Bryan to the Township Administrator for the following time period, January 19, 2017 to May 15, 2017. Please advise me when this material is ready for review. There has been no response to these three things. Can you advise me now the status of this public records request, which is 16 months old?
I'm going to advise the board and the administrator not to answer any questions based on her initial statement that she has a right to bring an action. Excuse me for my hoarseness.
On January 25th, 2019, received by you on January 31st, with a follow-up on September 25th, 2019, received by you on October 1st, and again on February 18th, 2020, in an email. The following request was made for all types of communication, emails, memos, letters, text messages, etc., sent from the Township Administrator to Phil Beck, Jody Lease, and Ken Bryan for all types of communications, emails, memos, letters, text messages, etc., sent from Phil Beck, Jody Lease, and Ken Bryan to the Township Administrator for the following time period, March 13, 2018 to August 17, 2018. Please advise me when this material is ready for review. There has been no response. Can you advise me now of the status of this public records request?
Same advice.
There was a text message stream in 2017 regarding a residence memorial tree. I requested a copy of that text message in April 2017, which has not been provided, and this was requested on several other occasions and still has not provided. This text message stream existed as it was shown to me by Mr. Bryan. The message included a topic which should have been handled in open session and consisted of basically something that said, I have one vote for and one vote against. You are the deciding vote. This was acknowledged by Mr. Bryan's April 20th, 2017 email, in which he indicated he communicated with this Kim that this was not proper. Why was this text message not been provided to me?
Same advice. I'm sorry, Carol.
Okay, that's fine.
I got to do my job.
That's even better. That's even better. A request was made to Kim several times and staff for a copy of the payroll timesheets from January 23rd to February 7th, 2020, as well as February 8th and February 21st. Staff was unwilling to provide. Therefore, on February 18th, 2020, I made an official public records request for these timesheets, as well as copies of all correspondence between Mrs. Lease, Mr. Bryan, and Mr. Beck and Township staff for the period of February 13th to February 18th, 2020, consisting of letters, email, text messages to be provided by an email. The board was aware that Kim was refusing to provide this information as part of a public records request. No action was taken by the board to direct staff to comply. Please advise the status of this simple public records request.
Same advice.
Okay, enough of the public records request. I have my answers. Thank you. I would now like clarification on your dismissal of LaWanda Willis from Township Employment. And just to provide you with some background information so you can better understand my question coming up. LaWanda spoke with Mr. Bryan on many occasions while he was board president regarding issues she was having within the township. These ended when Mr. Beck became board president. On January 28, 2019, as provided by the township personnel policy, she requested by email for a meeting with the board president and township administrator to address concerns outlined in previous emails and messages. I was aware that she and Ken had discussed issues, but not aware of what was discussed or what solutions had been considered. But it was very evident that she was treated different, separate from other employees. In early January, she again expressed concern to me about current issues, and I sent an email to Mr. Bryan and forwarded her email to him asking that he contact her. As far as I know, he did not, and that is why she requested Mr. Beck to respond. Mr. Beck's response on February 4th was to cite ORC 507.021 and stated that as per the state law, you are an employee of Carroll, not the township trustees. Your concerns would need to be brought to Carroll's attention for resolution. Let me repeat that comment made by Mr. Beck. You are an employee of Carroll, not the township trustees. And I guess I should point out that these concerns were about borderline discrimination and harassment by staff and township administrator. On March 6, 2020, I received an email from our law director advising me that the trustees decided to offer LaWanda a severance package. She accepted the package, and her last date of employment was on March 5th. My March 6th response to him was, "This is very interesting. Since the whole time LaWanda had issues with her treatment by staff, she was considered to be my employee. And now when it suits the board, she has become their employee. Please note that I am the fiscal officer until March 31st, and LaWanda was my assistant, and the treatment exhibited by the board today only reinforces her previous issues she has had over the time she has been a township employee. I am concerned that you decided this after stating for so long she was my employee, without a word to me, not even asking if it was important that she remain until March 31st, you terminate her. But my biggest concern is, when did you take this action in an open session to terminate her employment and to offer her a severance package? This was presented to her by Kim weeks before in February, while I was out of the office, and LaWanda was told she had to sign it. She did sign it on March 5th and returned it to Kim, which resulted in immediate termination. On the same day, Kim sent LaWanda a text message stating, "We have agreed to pay you for the rest of the month." There is nothing in the minutes that I can see where you came out of executive session and made a motion in an open meeting for this action. There is nothing until April, when there is a resolution adopting, I think, the severance package. So when did you make this a session in an open meeting to terminate what you always stated to me as my employee, and to offer her a severance package for 3 months, and then to also agree to pay her wages through March 31st?
I'm going to advise the board not to answer the question.
Thank you.
Regarding, but I can maybe provide some clarification. There's kind of a distinction between your employee and the township employee. The Ohio Revised Code gives the fiscal officer the authority to hire an assistant.
You missed my
Are
point.
you going to interrupt me?
I don't care. My point was.
Then I'm not going to answer your
That's
question.
fine. My point was, is that they considered her to be my employee. All along, while she had issues and wanted to talk to the board to resolve the issues as the personnel policy manual. It was only until it suited their benefit that they said, "Oh, no, she's a township employee and we're going to benefit." I know all that section. I know all that section. She was hired as a township employee. She was fired as a township employee. But when did it happen in open meeting?
Okay.
When did this board come into open session and make that motion to terminate her?
And I just said, you have to listen to what I say,
That's
Ms.
fine.
Sims. When I
That's
try
fine.
to respond to you, you need to try to listen instead of interrupting me.
I somehow don't always
And instead of
understand
arguing
your
with me
opinions.
over legal questions, all right, I tried to explain something, so I'm not going to do that
That's good.
anymore.
That's
So I'm not
good.
going to do that. But I'm going to advise the board not to answer questions regarding the termination of an employee right now. Any questions?
Okay, but I could clearly see this was action the board took, and it was not in an open meeting as per the open meetings law. Last but least, I guess for now, I do have some other things, but I'll wait, because I'm probably gonna get the same answer from you. What happened to my COBRA coverage for April, for which I made payment of $707.05? I received a notification from Medical Mutual that my insurance ended March 31st, 2020. Was I not covered for April on COBRA coverage? If so, please provide me with letters from the 3 insurance companies stating that I was. If not, please refund my payment. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I just wanted to apologize. Oh, Mark McQuillan, 9355 McKinney Road. I just want to apologize that I went in the covert thing during the session on the land use. And
That's
I just,
fine.
I
It's
just,
perfectly fine.
well, that's fine. I just, I realized, I went in the wrong place, so.
Well,
Just
it
want
was,
to apologize.
actually, Mark, it was pertinent. It was pertinent.
Oh, okay. Well, it was in that a
So
lot of people
that's why we
show
didn't
up
cut
here.
you off.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, we're moving on to new business. Discussion concerning cleanup days, cross-country race at Home of the Brave, Fall Fest, and use of administration building and safety center. So it's gonna be, Kim, you wanna kick this off?
I just need direction on whether you want to continue with these activities, or do you want to cancel them, reschedule them? How do you guys want to move forward?
Cleanup days, I mean, I think that's straight, I mean, people can social distance there. I don't think that would be a problem. Do you? Anyone?
The issue becomes, do we want people to drop off their own items? Because the township employees would have to touch people's items, so that becomes a danger to the township employees. So that's the whole, we'd have to decide who's doing what. Whether you want the employees to touch people's items, or do you want people to drop off their items in the bins that are provided?
Oh.
And is that possible?
Can they wear gloves, or is that still not safe?
But every time you touch something, you contaminate the glove, and then you're just contaminating the surfaces.
When is cleanup day scheduled?
August
August.
15th?
Yes. Saturday, August 15th.
Can we put off that decision until our August meeting? I mean,
That's really cutting it close.
I know, and that's why I'm asking. Because as of right now, with the uptick in COVID in Hamilton County and so on, and the governor considering more restrictions, I'd almost like to wait and see. That's kind of where I am. I'm only speaking about cleanup day right now.
The problem is getting the word out.
Yeah, and this is my concern. I think with this time, people are cleaning out their stuff. They're cleaning out the paint, they're cleaning out the garage, they're cleaning out everything. So maybe I don't know, how would you do the heavy things, but
There's
can't
another
people be
question.
responsible for unloading it themselves? And we put that in a newsletter, like bring your sons, your daughters to help unload. We can't be responsible for loading. I mean, maybe here and there, if it's something heavy, we can put on a pair of gloves and help them, and then take off and throw the gloves away.
Okay.
But I kind of would like, you know, they're cleaning up stuff, and I think it's a perfect time to do it. It encourages them to stay home, and so, I don't know. That's kind of how I feel.
The question I have is, when we schedule these events, don't we invite other parties in, like Matthew 25 and Rumpke and others, and how are they going to deal with this?
That's my question, is we've only gotten confirmation from Rumpke that they will come, but they won't help. They'll just
Okay.
drop off the bins.
All right, but
So,
we haven't heard from like Matthew 25
no, we haven't heard
on
from any of
taking
those other
acrylic paint and
agencies.
stuff like that, right?
No, we don't know, and they may have changed by now, I don't know.
Okay,
But
do we have to make the, yeah, I guess it
So
comes back
can
to,
we
do we have
move
to
it
make
to
that?
like September?
I would recommend that we just bump it until
Okay.
we have more information.
Okay, but in the meantime, we need to talk with these other outside agencies that have come in that want to collect this kind of stuff and see if there's any interest,
Right.
okay?
Could we
So,
do this as
I-
a do-it-yourself, where you,
Yeah.
if you're not capable of putting something into a dumpster, you bring someone with you that can help?
Once again, it's a matter of communication too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
you know?
So you're saying,
I don't mind putting it off till September,
okay,
okay? But in the interim, I think we need to be finding out answers to these other questions.
right. Normally, they don't come to our fall cleanup, like our
Who doesn't?
Matthew 25 Ministries. They
But
don't.
we haven't had one this year, right?
Right, but normally they don't come to the fall one.
Okay.
Normally, they only come to the one in May.
Okay.
And then usually
So
it's just,
I think there's a lot of logistics needs to be worked out. So let's push it back to September and have an update report in August.
Right.
okay.
Okay, what's next?
Cross-country race at Home of the Brave. I think we have to see where fall sports go before we make a determination on this. I mean, if we're playing football and there's sports as normal, I would leave it up to the cross-country team to determine that.
And they almost might have to sign waivers, COVID-19 waivers and all that kind of stuff to even
Yeah.
participate.
Yeah, and Fall Fest, I don't know if we can do a full blown out,
Mm-mm.
but I would like to do something, maybe decorate Mead property and have like some, after the sunflower garden is gone, maybe put a hay maze, so people can come out and do something.
in social distance.
Yeah, and social distance. I mean, we put it there for like, you know, a weekend or a week
All right,
or
that
or
would normally
a couple
be-
weeks, just so people can have something to do.
That would normally be September, late September, right?
Fall Fest is October, first
Okay.
week in October.
All right, on, figured late September, early October. So what about finding out more about the logistics involved in making something happen then, and bring it back in the August meeting?
Yeah, let's,
But the thing is, that we have to know now whether we're going forward or we're not going forward.
Well, I don't
Just
think
because
we're
we have to
gonna-
line up all these
I don't think we're gonna
activities.
We're not
rent
gonna-
Mrs. Cow Pie and all that kind
yeah,
of
we're not
stuff.
gonna have that, but I was
Okay.
thinking maybe we could decorate like Mead property.
That's what I'm talking about,
That-
logistics.
It
I
wouldn't,
think-
do you know what I'm saying?
So
We
no,
wouldn't-
no activity, but you just want us to decorate.
Yeah, and, you know, have like maybe a hay maze, you know, just kind of like you come, it's not from like 6 to 10 or whatever, it's like over a weekend, and you can invite people to come, maybe we can decorate the trail a little bit, something like that, but.
Okay, so just leave it like a okay, I get that.
Guided tour,
All
but
right.
not, we don't need to go out and get Mrs. Cow Pie.
I think
or-
in our first of the month kind of newsletter that goes out, we can talk about the changes that are coming and so on, and what our thought process is,
Okay,
okay?
The use of the administration building and the safety center.
we have not been allowing people to use our buildings for meetings. Do you want to continue with that
Have
practice?
we had anybody ask?
Yeah, we've had people that ask to use this building, and we always tell them no.
Okay.
I mean, just during COVID.
Right, but
Okay.
since it's
I think you need. to-
rearing its ugly head again, what do you guys want me to do going forward? Because
I
we've
think it
been
should be
pushing it off and
consistent,
pushing it
even though
off.
I may be one that doesn't get to use the building
Well, yeah.
for my 50th wedding anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
August 8th,
August 8th.
yeah.
Wow, congratulations.
So we're gonna, I think our thinking is that we're gonna do our 51st.
Yeah.
More
That might be
people will show
better.
up.
Well, or less, as the case may be. But no, Kim, I think we ought to be consistent. If we're not using admin building and safety center, at least through this COVID time frame, I think we should keep it up.
Okay, and then that begs the next question. What do you guys want to do for trustee meetings? Because we've got that zoning commission hearing next week, and then we'll have text amendments for the zone change, or not zone changes, zoning text amendments that are coming up probably in September.
And they have to be heard in September?
Well, we have to schedule it in August for a September hearing date, yes. We can't stop the process because we've already initiated it, so we have to continue forward.
Is there a timeline on that it has to be completed?
No, but we have to schedule the meeting by August.
Well, I don't want to have another tonight type meeting
No.
on a controversial issue that isn't well thought out and, you know,
Well, it's
we
well
need-
thought
we
out.
really-
We've talked about this for a year.
Yeah. Is there any controversial issues with respect to zoning amendments?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, can we do
we-
it via Zoom / in-house? I mean, can some people that don't feel comfortable, can we do as, like, we were trying
If
to
we're gonna do,
before?
I'd rather do one or the other. If you're just gonna do, it's hard to blend it, just like tonight, we couldn't get the internet to work. So I'd rather just do it all Zoom if we're gonna do Zoom.
Well,
Because then you've got that delay.
I heard some requests tonight that basically I wrote down, it says, defer decisions on any new, non-time sensitive issues during COVID.
But we can't stop the process. We
Okay.
have to continue forward because in the revised code, it says
Okay.
we have to schedule a hearing between 20 and 40 days after the initial hearing.
Okay, that's what I was looking for.
Yes.
I was looking for the logic that required us to do it. Okay.
So Kim, can we do Zoom meetings if we have full functionality and people can log in?
Yeah,
and
because what we can
actually
do is we can do
chat?
it just like we did like the last trustees meeting where we did the finance, where we did all the tax budget information. And when we did it as a webinar, where you had to register to talk.
But nobody registered.
But nobody registered, yeah.
I was trying to say it in a nice way.
Okay.
But anybody can log in.
Yeah. You can either watch it or register to talk and watch it.
So how do we get that word out fast?
Well, if
That's
it's for the
key.
next meeting, we don't have to worry about that. I mean, we can announce it tomorrow that we're doing the August meeting that way, which gives us a whole month.
Okay,
You're talking about BZA meeting, or are you talking about trustees meeting?
both.
Trustees, but we'd have to, if we're gonna do zoning commission, then we gotta know now,
Okay.
because that's next week, it's next Wednesday.
So you want to try a Zoom?
We've
What
done-
is on?
We've done 2 Zoom meetings.
What's
I
that?
know with zoning. I don't think we've done, have we done one zoning?
Not with zoning commission, but we've done it with BZA.
So it worked out okay with BZA?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's try zoning.
Okay.
I mean, do you see any issues with that, Kim, with the zoning?
No,
Okay, let's try it.
no, Brian did it actually with the staff meeting that we had with the possible zone change that we had like a month ago. So he's already done it. We would just need to get the zoning commission kind of,
Then
Okay.
since it's a public hearing, people will be able to,
right. Log
Call-
in,
log
they
in
have to
and ask
log in and
questions.
register, and they have to sit in a waiting room, and then they have, well, there's a little button on your thing that says raise your hand, and it raises your hand when you want to speak.
okay, but they gotta log in with Zoom.
And register,
And
yes.
register with Zoom, right.
Yep.
Okay.
Can I make a suggestion?
Sure.
You know, if you listen to half of what was said this evening from the audience, it's that nobody was informed of anything. Well, no, I didn't personally call each one of them, neither did any of you. But the notices were there, you know, in the various modes of communication we have with our citizens. I think for us to probably for the next few months, put notices in our newsletter, put it on our website, reminding them that the information is there for anybody who chooses to go to it and look for it and pay attention to it, rather than expect, I mean, I wouldn't say rather than expect to be spoon-fed, but that's what we're hearing tonight, you know.
I heard a little something different too. Inconsistency from site to site. Okay.
Well, but you know,
And material not updated until a few days before this meeting.
is that true?
It's been on the website, but it was updated as things were brought to their attention. Like, hey, like what CJ made is that the map didn't print correctly. So as soon as he brought that to my attention, I brought it to their attention, and they fixed it the same day.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they did what they were asked.
Yeah.
And it's been on the website. And if you go to our current website right now, there is a link that shows both maps. If you go to other maps, it shows all the 2009 maps, and it shows all the proposed 2020 maps.
So, since we're talking about this, is there any way that we can simplify it on our website so it's easy to find?
We can't put it on our website because we don't have enough storage capacity. That's why there's a link to Hamilton County's website.
And is that the way all townships do that?
I have no idea.
Okay, and I guess we would need to look into getting a bigger storage if we would want to do that
Yeah,
in
we'd
the
have to buy it.
future.
We'd probably have to buy another server.
Yep.
Ooh, and how much would that cost?
It's like $8,000, $9,000 is the last one we paid for.
And so, so obviously we don't want to spend $8,000 or $9,000 for more storage. So it linked to Hamilton County, and was it just not easy to find on their website?
We have a link that goes right to it. I mean, I was able to link it, find it, link it, and go right to it.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe it's a matter of how we organize things on our own website to try and, I don't know.
We
I'm
even
just
bumped it
thinking out
up.
loud, but just, you know.
You bumped it up to the very.
We
beginning
bumped it
because-
up to the top because it fell down. See, once you there's only 3 spaces for notices. So then once you get that 4th notice in there, it bumps it down, and then you have to hit the archive button. So what I had Luann do was bump it back up to the top so that it would be the first news category. And then obviously, you know, we put another thing in there, so it bumped it down to the second one, but
Yeah.
it's still there.
Right. I mean,
And all
I
you
was
have to do
able
is
to
kick it-
find the
yeah.
old one and the new one. But actually, the comment that resonated with me, I think there was more than one comment, but it's true. When you're looking at the old and the new, and it's hard, I was not able to zoom up for some reason. I'm not sure why. So.
Oh, like zoom into the map on their website?
Yeah, it blurs.
So, something that actually lists out what the changes are from this one to that one.
That's something we'll just have to request from Hamilton County. When I did ask Steve for that, he said that's not normally how they do it. They just do it by area and they
But
show it
makes
as a blurb
sense,
on the
though.
map.
Right, it makes sense, because
Right.
otherwise it's like, where's Waldo? Because you're trying to figure out what's different between these two pictures.
Right.
So that would be helpful, I think.
I can ask him. He said that's not how they typically do it. That's why I provided a map in the resolution that was sent at 3:56.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
they-
think it's
So-
necessary.
They said that they've done at least 15 of these before. I would like to see if they had problems with other communities versus ours. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, they've done 99% of the job. We just need to, it's that communication, that's what's lacking, I think. That clear communication to the residents. You know, it's our job to make sure that the residents can find the information, but then once you find it, you gotta make sure you can understand it, hopefully quickly.
You need to understand if it's
It was
relatable to
announced.
you
I
or
mean,
not, too.
Right.
It was
If
put
it's
on our
pertinent.
website, it was on every single
Doesn't matter.
e-newsletter that we've had for the last year. It was on our mailed out the other newsletter. It was on
Right.
Facebook.
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about once you find it, and then making sure that it's easily understood. I think that list of changes would pay dividends.
Yes. I concur.
I will
mean,
ask.
Is that an additional service? Okay, so be it. If we need it.
Well, if that's what you need for good communication, I think that's worth it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Okay.
Okay. So can I move on?
Yeah, I just had one quick, getting back to the cross-country. Do we know yet if, are we being asked to host? I mean, I don't think, me personally, we'd love to accommodate these types of athletic events. I mean, we are now. We've got games going on,
Right.
all sorts of stuff. It's just a matter of.
If they're doing it or not.
Mhm.
This has currently been on our schedule since last year. Since
Yeah.
they did it last year, they immediately contacted me again and said, this is where we'd like to hold this race every year. So I said, okay, let me pencil you in so that we don't schedule anybody in the shelters.
Okay.
So my question is, since everything is seeming to shut down again, not shut down, but we're going to the masks, and I don't really know what the school's plan is, they probably don't know yet either, but I'm, like, from a township standpoint, what is our opinion about that?
Is that a September event?
No.
It's Memorial Day or Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
It's,
Okay.
I think personally, if the schools are doing cross-country meets, I think we should give them an opportunity to use Home of the Brave, because I'm sure they're gonna have to have a lot of regulations on social distancing and how the meets are gonna go to keep everybody safe. Yeah.
all right. I was just concerned about the cross-pollination of runners and people that are using the park, and then getting the whole,
Have we not shut down the park on that day?
No, we don't.
no, we don't ever shut it down.
Okay. Yeah, we have, for, our old, Fall for Symmes or whatever, when we were involved with, before the Firecracker Festival, we didn't have competing events in the same locales.
But I think people would avoid, I
That
mean,
was
if you're
back-
having
that was back
cross-country
when,
runners, you're gonna avoid them.
You mean the summer festival?
Yeah, whatever
Yeah.
it was.
Mhm.
We had rides and all that kind of stuff and so on, so because we had equipment
Symmes
in there, we
Fest,
shut the
is that what
park
we
down
called
for
it?
like two to 3 days
Yeah.
or something. And I think it was Symmes Park at that time.
Yeah, we shut Sims Park down, but we've never shut Home of the Brave
Oh,
down.
okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're moving on?
Yeah.
Okay, I move approval with no hearing for a liquor permit at Kroger's Limited Partnership, 11390 Montgomery Road, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45249.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Bryan,
Aye.
Mr. Beck.
Aye.
Since there's nobody in the audience, I'm gonna take mine off. I'll make sure that I don't breathe your way. I move approval, I can't take it anymore. I move approval of Resolution G 2020-56, resolution requesting Symmes Township share of funds from the Hamilton County Coronavirus Relief Distribution Fund pursuant to the CARES Act.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
All right, can I ask a question?
Sure.
How much are we asking for?
It's not an ask. You just receive the same as what your local government fund allocation is.
Oh, so we don't have to put in that we spent this much and so on in order to
You do at the
recover?
end. So last year, I think our local government fund distribution was like 148,000. So we'll roughly get the same amount of money, and then we have to prove expenditures when we have to put it in a separate fund, so we're gonna have to create a separate fund for it. And then we put the money in the fund, and then we have to use it per the guidelines that the state has set forth, which are not, I mean, there's very few uses for it. Now, Chief did tell me that the Lucas device is one of those things that is, you know, like coming up on our agenda, that's one of the things we can use the CARES Act money to pay for.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
I'm not sure about the cot.
And
Did you guys
hiring-
get
and the-
clarification on the cot, but just the Lucas device, right? Okay.
And the potential hiring of a company to clean our parks and so on?
Yes, we can use that. I just didn't think you guys wanted to do that.
Well, we hadn't committed to it yet.
Okay.
I was just wondering if that qualifies.
Yes, it does. Any,
Okay.
any type of cleaning supplies or cleaning function that you do
Okay.
qualifies. But we
Alright.
just can't use, we cannot use our existing personnel, and we cannot pay for any existing personnel because we already have them. It's
Okay.
only if we hire new people to do it.
Okay.
Okay, roll call?
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2020-57, resolution approving the submittal of an annual tax budget for the fiscal year 2021 to the County Budget Commission.
Second?
Discussion?
This is the one that we've already reviewed with Finance Committee and all that kind of stuff?
Yes.
It's just the formality of sending it in a timely fashion?
Right.
Okay.
Roll call?
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2020-58, resolution adopting revision to
Actually,
the.
we tabled
Oh,
that.
sorry, I tabled that one, I'm sorry, I
Yep.
forgot. My apologies. I move approval of Resolution G 2020-59, resolution authorizing a change order in the Hearthstone Sidewall Project contract to Fillmore Construction in the amount of $2,500.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Is this a second amendment or whatever? Didn't we already do one with
Yep.
Fillmore?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, Bill added some extra sidewalk on Shallow Creek
I just
to
asking
make
for.
it
Okay.
even as you come down the street on
Okay.
both sides.
I'm just asking for clarification because my memory plays tricks on me and I thought we already did this one once.
No, well, we did a change order 1, so this is change order 2.
Okay.
Okay, roll call?
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2020-60, resolution authorizing the Township Administrator to enter into an agreement with Garland DBS Incorporated to replace the roof of the Safety Center service in the amount of $183,392. Did I say that right?
183,000.
1,000, sorry,
Yeah.
392. I saw that amount and I was like, oh, no.
Second? Discussion?
Discussion.
I'm-
Why do we have to replace it so soon?
Yeah.
Because it's
I-
damaged. It's damaged and it needs to be replaced. We
Then
did a
it-
flyover from it. So,
Wow.
we did it, we hired a company to come in and do a flyover and they looked at it. I can't see them when you do that, so.
Is there any insurance that's gonna pay for it?
Yeah, really.
No, it's not an insurance claim. It's just from years of, it's just years of just,
It's 14 years.
I know, but it's, you have to remember the lowest bidder put the roof on the safety center.
And remind me, what's the material?
It's asphalt shingles.
That's only 16 years?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
That's what happens with government contracts. You go lowest bidder and you don't know what you're gonna get.
14 years.
Yeah.
14.
So anyway, it's damaged and it needs to be
14
repaired
years.
and replaced. And
So-
so they originally were gonna repair it, but there's no way to just repair it. It needs to be replaced.
Okay, so do we have to use the lowest builder again, or
Well,
again, or can we make sure it's quality?
Do we have multiple bids?
Yes, we have 3 bids. In the packet, I included all 3 of the bids.
And what's the warranty on what they bid?
That I don't know.
50 years?
Let's see.
No, it's not a
Shingles
metal
should be-
roof.
Shingles should be.
Shingles, it's what, 15?
Should be 30.
Depends, it can be
30?
25.
No.
Yeah, they can be 25.
Oh, yeah, that's the minimum.
Well,
They have 25,
I think I'm-
30, 40, and 50. When was the determination made that it needed to
I
be
get,
replaced?
I got 20 years out of mine.
We talked about this. We talked about this the other day, you and I did.
I know, but I don't remember when it was determined. Was it before?
We knew last year that we needed, it probably needed to be replaced, and then we,
I was just in
And
reference to the hailstorm.
where is this being taken out of?
it's gonna be, we had that fund where we have the Safety Services Building Fund that's been sitting there
Okay.
So we
since
have the money.
2006. Yeah, we have $173,000 in that account. And then we were gonna take the remaining $9,600 out of the Safety Services Levy Fund.
Okay.
See if it
We gotta
gives
get
me a
Chief Gregory to
warranty.
bid it. Hmm?
That was Jack's first job, a roofer. Well, one of his first jobs.
Yeah, I did that too when I got out of high school.
Yeah,
Wow.
Did it one summer.
that gets you in good shape.
Okay.
Okay.
Just checking the warranty.
I don't see one listed, but
What kind of warranty do you think we're gonna get on this?
That's what she's checking.
that's what
Oh,
I'm trying
okay.
to find out from Bill. I just texted him.
What we need is a Hurricane Ike to come and do hail damage or something so we can recoup insurance-wise. Or we can do a different kind of flyover.
25 years.
Okay.
Okay. So that mean it has to last 25 years?
Yeah.
It's probably
We're hoping to get
prorated.
25 years.
It's probably prorated.
Yeah, I would,
We might be able to eke out more.
yeah.
It's, minimum 25.
Okay. All right, if it needs to be done,
Okay.
roll call.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2020-61, resolution authorizing the township, authorizing to the purchase of a Lucas device with a warranty from Stryker in the amount not to exceed $14,881.40, and a 4-year maintenance agreement in the amount not to exceed $4,773.60.
Second.
Discussion?
What happens at the end of 4 years, Chief?
At the end of 4 years, then it goes on probably like a yearly maintenance fee that you guys just have to renew.
And it'll probably be more expensive because it's 4-year-old equipment?
Oh, yeah. Because it's going to go up each year, like a 3%, 3 to 6% markup.
The cost plus the age probably mean you mean more
Yes.
frequent repair.
Yes.
Yes, we already have one.
Yes, you have one already.
Yeah, I know we have one.
Joe asked
Joe
if we
asked
had,
me.
had a second one. So this second one will go in our other ambulance.
This one will go in your second unit, yes.
Second one.
We have 2 ambulance, we have one at Remington and one at at Safety Services
here.
Center here, right?
Right, so the Lucas device is on the one here. This will be the one going on the
Right,
Remington
the one at
squad.
Remington. So we have 2 fire stations in our township.
And this is for training.
No.
No, this is for
no.
to use on people like,
Oh, okay.
So if you're
yeah,
in a cardiac arrest, this does the chest compression.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Demonstrate.
It's here to
Yeah.
pump you up.
Yeah.
So this is the one where I said that we can use CARES Act money to pay for this, so we don't have to take
Yeah.
the amount out of the Safety Services levy. So I'll probably have to change the resolution to reflect the CARES Act new fund or whatever.
Okay. Okay, roll call.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2020-62, resolution authorizing the purchase of a power load cot system with a warranty from Stryker in the amount not to exceed $44,019.79 and installation in the amount not to exceed $2,174.04.
Second.
Discussion?
Tell us about that, Chief.
You already have one power load and system right now in your medic unit up front. It's the
Okay, I'm
XE.
familiar with what the Lucas is, but tell me what the load cot system is.
It's basically a power cot, so we don't have to do the lifting anymore.
Lifting.
Runs on a battery, lifts the patient up, and actually loads them into the squad.
Yeah, it's safer for the
Well,
firemen.
Saves the back injuries.
Yeah.
So it's rated for 700 pounds for a patient, 700 pounds.
What kind of warranty are we talking?
It's 1 year warranty on that, and then after that, you can do the maintenance agreement for like 4 years.
Okay, roll call?
Oh, I need a second.
Is,
Did
has
somebody
Loveland
second it?
got these on their ambulances?
Yeah, we.
Yes,
said-
Loveland
did we
has
second?
one, and they're getting ready to install another
I think
one.
Ken seconded.
Ken did.
Okay.
Yeah, they're getting ready to install
Sorry.
another one in July 24th.
Okay.
So both of their squads will have them.
All right, roll call?
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2020-63, resolution authorizing the Township Administrator to enter an agreement with Skeet Humphreys Construction LLC in the amount of $14,752 to replace the bathroom sliding doors at 7 Gables Park with new electric strike doors.
Second?
Discussion?
This is the second bathroom. Last year, we replaced the doors on Hopewell, and this time we're going to, they're basically a reconstruction of the doors at 7 Gables, because right now it's a roll-up door, so there's really no outside doors to the bathroom. You have to walk through the roll-up door to get to them. So we want to remove the roll-up door and actually construct doors and put electronic strike doors on the bathrooms. And this will actually make that bathroom a all-year bathroom.
And we can get rid of that.
And then we can
portalet.
get rid of the portalet that's there.
The electronic strike door, is that a swipe card or something that you get in, or
No,
what?
it's, remember it's on the timer? So we turn the timer on and say it's like 9 o'clock, it just locks the door. And then you can't access it overnight.
Okay.
Roll call?
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2020-64, resolution authorizing the Township Administrator to enter an agreement with J.K. Muir Corporation in the amount of $15,805 to make repairs to the trail at Hopewell Meadows Park.
Second?
Discussion?
This is just, we're repaving asphalt? Is it?
Right, the trail, like when you come into the park, it's to the left-hand side, so it's from the trail, like where the parking lot is, it kind of goes past that one shelter and then along the fence, along Humphrey, and then it comes back. It's that section of the trail. I guess we have a lot of tree roots that have grown up into the trail, and it's made it uneven, so we've been grinding it down over time, and now it just needs to be like cut out and replaced.
We have
But
a
it-
lot of residents that
but-
use that trail, so.
But it will deteriorate over time because the tree roots are still there, right?
Probably. We can't stop it from happening unless we cut all the trees down.
Oh, no. We don't want to cut our trees
But
down.
when they excavate, will they sever the roots?
They could, and it could kill the tree, yes.
I
So
would
we're
think
not
that
gonna
there's
cut
more
the
than one
roots.
root on the tree.
Well, we kind of have to put the trail in, to put
Yeah.
it back in,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Is there a plan to replace other trails that this is the first of?
Yes, we definitely need to replace parts of the trail at Symmes Park.
Oh, yes. I walk that all the time. Why I'm thinking of it. Do you know the back trail where you go down the steps to get to the creek?
Mm-hmm.
It's covered with an algae, so it's very slick. So can
Okay.
we put that on the list to
Yeah.
have it like power washed so people don't fall?
Good point.
Glad I thought of that while I was sitting here. Because
Okay.
every time I walk it, I'm like, oh, this is really slippery.
All right.
Okay, roll call?
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2020-65, resolution the Township Administrator to purchase a new dump truck for the Road Department for Lebanon, from Lebanon Ford in the amount not to exceed $40,000, and outfit the truck from K.E. Rose in the amount not to exceed $45,000.
Second.
Discussion.
Yeah, I have a question.
Do we need
Is
this?
this $95,000?
85.
85?
Yes.
Yeah, there's an explanation from Bill. I had him write up a memo, and it explains.
Didn't we just buy a new truck?
We replaced one of the larger dump trucks this year. We just took ownership of it again. And then this is the actual, one of the one-ton. So it's one of the smaller dump trucks that we use, kind of like multi-purpose.
For
where we can't
$85,000
get-
for the
Yeah,
small
because
one.
you gotta buy the truck chassis, which is
I know that.
40,000. And then by the time you put the dump bed with all the hydraulics and the lights and all that stuff, it's another 45.
And so are we replacing one or are we adding one?
Replacing one.
Replacing one.
Yeah, and we'll trade in the one we have now on a new one.
Okay.
So it includes the trade-in price.
Ooh, that's
Pushing
expensive.
$100,000.
And so where,
Yeah, it's
what are we,
expensive.
we're taking that out of what fund?
Multiple funds, so we are, general fund, gas tax fund, road levy fund, cemetery fund, and the parks fund. I kind of spread it all out.
Does that push any of our funds into financial distress?
No, that's why I spread it out.
I'm just sitting here thinking about how much we just approved.
I know, I'm
You know,
dying.
like $500,000 or something here. And I'm just starting to get concerned about where all this money's coming from. And I sure as heck don't want to go back for another levy for quite a while.
No.
No, that's why I took it out of multiple funds.
Tax and spend. Tax and spend.
And so our dump trucks, they basically are for like when we, we have salt, when there's snow and things like that, so.
Oh,
it-
for other, and many other purposes. So we haul rock in it, we haul gravel or mulch. You name it, like when we dig out, anytime that we dig out for, say, in Terwilligers, we've been over there replacing curb.
Okay.
Anytime we dig out the curb, we're sticking it in the dump truck and then taking it to, Remington Clean Fill and dropping it off and dumping it and then coming back and getting another load. So we use it for multiple functions.
Okay. Do you have any idea how old the truck is that we're replacing?
It's in the memo, it's 15,
2007.
yeah, it's
2007.
2007, it's got approximately 54,000 miles on it, so.
Okay.
I don't understand this second sentence. It says 5,527 hours equivalent to 248,715 miles.
What you have to remember is with our vehicles, that you can't compare them to residential vehicles because,
of hard work.
yes, and we leave them idle a lot. So when you, it's just like a police vehicle, when you get out of the vehicle, they don't turn them off because of all the equipment they're running. So the idle time, it's still going and you're still using gas and you're still putting stress on the vehicle as you're operating
So
it.
that was his clarification.
Yes.
For the 54,000 miles it actually
Right.
shows, which really is
I know.
more tantamount to 250,000.
Yeah, I
Right.
remember that.
Because the number of hours that's on it.
And the police department was quoting us for a while, the idle time on their vehicles
Right.
drive the mileage equivalent up, way up.
Yeah.
And fire engines too, I would assume. Okay.
Joe, are you comfortable with the
Yeah, I was gonna
distribution
say
of
that.
how to pay
From
for
the
this?
different funds?
Mhm.
Well, from what I know, we have enough in them to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. And is this on a regular cycle, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I think in his memo, he says that it's
12,
smaller vehicles are 10 to 12-year rotation and the large dump trucks are replaced on a 12 to 14-year rotation.
and this one's 13 years old.
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's outside the 10 to 12.
Yeah.
Like I said, it was supposed to be on our schedule for last year, but since it took so long for us to get the first dump truck, we kept putting it off.
Okay. And looking at your capital equipment needs for service department, we have another one coming next year or anything like that?
Yes, we do. One of the larger ones. Yeah, but the way it'll work is if we order it at the beginning of year next year, we probably won't take ownership of it until 2022. Because they take over a year to get. That's why we have to order them at the beginning, and then it takes forever for the truck chassis to come in, And then you gotta send the truck chassis up to K.E. Rose, who has to
So-
install the bed and all that.
Okay, so if we approve this tonight, it could be 2021 before we take delivery.
It could. I don't think so. I think Bill said he thought we would probably get it by November, early December for the smaller truck. It's the big trucks that take over a year.
Yeah. I guess I'm sitting here thinking that, yeah, we replaced one last year, or this year,
That's the
next
big
year.
one,
Yeah.
one of the big ones, and then this is the smaller one.
But what I don't want to get into, I don't think, is replacing multiples in the same year.
Well, no, we don't either, but this kind of pushed us back because we were waiting on delivery of the other one.
Okay. All right, you're answering our questions.
Okay.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Bryan,
Ouch. Aye.
I know.
Aye.
I move approval of following expenditure and authorization of the township administrator to sign any necessary contract agreements or paperworks. A, amend 18A02A contracts from 0 to $173, thousand, thank you, $692 and, wait,
68 cents.
68 cents. It
That's for
doesn't
the
look-
roof.
That doesn't look right on my thing.
Two
Okay,
extra
B,
zeros.
expenditure, $4,807, American Firehouse Furniture Replacement Mattress for the fire station. C, expenditure, $19,253.92, ICRC cable franchise fee. Excuse me, hold on, let me get my paper turned. D, expenditure $4,979 for Oswich Company to replace condensing unit for the safety center. And E, expenditure $3,686 for Hamilton County Sheriff / Walt Sweeney to replace the transmission in car 94.
Second.
Discussion?
Kim, what's 18A02 that we have to put 173,000 in there?
That's for the roof. That's that account that
Okay.
we have
Okay.
for the
So-
capital account. We didn't appropriate any money in that account this year, so we have to appropriate that line item.
But you said that we had 160 some odd thousand or so.
We have
in the account.
173,692 in that account, and then we're gonna have to take the rest, which is $9,600 out of the safety services levy.
What you're saying is that we did not appropriate any of the 163,000. What we're doing now is,
183?
well.
Yeah,
you're
we didn't
taking-
appropriate it this
You're taking
year.
something from 0 to 173,000.
We didn't appropriate it from this fund, we actually appropriated it from the safety services levy. We appropriated $200,000 to make these improvements,
Okay.
but we have this fund that's been sitting there and we're not doing anything with it, and it's for this building. So what we're saying is, we want to just use that money to replace the roof since we have it,
Okay, so
instead
what-
of using the safety services levy.
So what happened to the 200,000 that we put in our budget?
We haven't, we
For something else?
used it.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we'll use $4,979 to replace the condensing unit that's broken.
Okay, out of the 200K.
Yep.
On a roll.
Yeah, well.
Seems like every time we turn around, we're doing something to the air conditioning system in this
Yeah.
building.
Well, if you remember last year, I mentioned that to you guys, that we were gonna have to start replacing units in this building because of the age of the building.
14 years old.
Well, didn't yours only last 10 years in your house?
If that.
If that?
My air conditioning, yeah. I'm on the third day coil. And,
Well, you just have to
12
remember,
years.
this building is open 24/7, so it doesn't get used like a normal building. I mean, it gets used every day, 365 days a year, 24/7.
Okay.
So people are always here.
Okay, roll call?
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Bryan,
All right.
Mr. Beck.
Aye.
I move, there's no executive session, so I move to adjourn.
Second.
Roll call?
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Bryan,
Aye.
Mr. Beck.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Everybody have a good night.